from his shoulders and threw it to his men. Then he looked at Qionyang. Is the matter over? Qionyang looked at Jiang Yu, then at the expressionless Suwon. Knowing that the couple had quarreled, she smiled knowingly and nodded. We have finished the discussion. I still have a lot of things to do. I will take my leave now. Qionyang took the account book and left, leaving the finished products for Suwon to try out. Since everything is fine, I'll leave too. Suwon stood up and followed Qionyang. Qionyang walked quickly and quickly walked out of the room. She saw Fengming standing at the door with his arms folded and smiling at her. She glanced at him and motioned for him to hurry up. How could Fengming be so inconsiderate? He took his other 2 followers and left, no longer staying to hinder the young master from chasing his wife. Now, they are anxious to secretly eliminate Yu Wushang's forces and spies in the Jiangnan area. In order to avoid alerting the enemy, they first adopt the method of recruiting his people and turn them into their own. In this way, it seems that his people have not moved and he will not receive any news, but in fact his people are already working for Jiang Yu and have concealed it from his scrutiny. His uncle, who is not related by blood, has been counter-espionage in this way. There are also some die-hard ones who will be killed if they cannot be conquered, and those in high positions will be controlled first. When Suwon passed by him, he grabbed her arm and pulled her into his arms. Knowing that she would resist, he simply put his arm around her waist and picked her up with the other hand, lifting her feet off the ground. And then he went to close the door. Meng Lang, men and women should not touch each other. Let me down quickly. Jiang Yu didn't say anything. He just put her on the chaise longue and sat beside her. When Suwon tried to stand up, he held her arm. Stop it. I have something to tell you. Who made trouble with you? Suwon said one thing, but meant another. Then why are you feeling awkward? Jiang Yu looked at her with amusement. The little girl felt guilty and didn't dare to look him in the eye. If you have something to say, just say it quickly.
I'm Buse.
Suwon seemed to be calmly adjusting the pleats of her skirt, but she was actually feeling very upset. Jiang Yu raised his eyebrows, and his hands placed on his knees showed that he was not calm at the moment. I didn't mean to avoid you during the past half-month. I wanted to calm down for a few days, think about the questions you asked me, and give you a satisfactory answer. But then I had something urgent to deal with in Suzhou, so I went there and came to see you right after I got back. He first explained the reason for his disappearance with a sincere attitude and gentle tone, which made Suwon feel less aggrieved. Is Jiang Yu? He will be in charge of Fenghua Villa in the future. With so many industries and connections to deal with, he will be much busier than her. Have you dealt with it? Suwon looked at him quietly. It's been dealt with. How could I come back to see you if it wasn't, huh? Jiang Yu did not forget to tease her, deliberately raising the ending of his tone. So, that's what you were going to say. Of course not. I have something else to tell you. Jiang Yu wanted to answer the questions she had asked before, and he wanted to dispel her inner concerns. Suwon's heart began to beat wildly. When she was a teenager in modern times, she had also experienced the throbbing of puberty, so she knew clearly the feeling of heartbeat. But for Jiang Yu, she was not only moved, but she liked him. She liked him very much. You asked me a lot of questions that day, and I will answer them one by one now. I was nice to you in the beginning not only because I wanted to repay you for saving my life, but also because I liked you. And my love for you was not something that accumulated over time, and I only looked at you differently because of the kindness you gave me when I saved my life. Instead, I fell in love with you the first time I saw you after my eyes recovered. I lied to you at that time and said I couldn't see, but in fact, I had selfish motives at that time. That was the first time I saw you carefully and seriously, but we had met before, right? You bumped into me in that restaurant in Qinghe County. I didn't pay attention to your appearance at the time, but I suddenly remembered that I was sure it was you. If you hadn't asked Sumu to save me, no one else would have been able to save me. In that case, I wouldn't have liked you, because if you hadn't saved me, I might have died. Jiang Yu said this seriously, and Suwon was so shocked that she almost laughed out loud, because what he said before made her nose sore. Don't laugh, be serious. Jiang Yu held her face in his hands and forced her to look at him. Her face was so small, but she looked really cute in his hands. Under the circumstances at that time, The external injuries might not take his life for the time being, but he was poisoned by a poison that only Sumu knew how to cure, and the only person who could cure it refused to save him. He couldn't contact Sun Beidou either, and even if he did, by the time he arrived, his grave would probably be overgrown with grass. How can I still like her when she is dead? Suwon really stopped smiling. Instead, she looked into his eyes seriously, trying to see her current appearance through his pupils. It was a little blurry and a little distorted, but there was only herself in it. Finally, if I survive by chance and meet you again, I think I will fall in love with you. Do you remember the flower fields and goat call? I told you what kind of girl I like, not because the girl I like must have these qualities, but because whoever I like is what I want. Because I like you, I like everything about you. This was the first time Jiangyu confessed his love in his life. In fact, he was very nervous inside. He was afraid that she would still not be satisfied with the answer he gave. Suwon figured it out in an instant. In fact, there is no need for any reason to like someone. You have to meet them first before you can like them. If you have never met them, how can you like them? It's just that she was trapped by the plot of the original novel, and the character she became had a tragic ending, so she was extremely insecure and wanted a definite answer. In fact, just as Jiangyu said, it can be understood that there is no such thing as an ideal type at the beginning. Whoever he likes is his ideal type. I heard people say that the so-called love at first sight is actually lust at first sight. Do you agree? Although he didn't say the words love at first sight, wasn't this what he wanted to express at the beginning? That's why Suwon asked him this. Jiangyu was quite frank. He said, I agree with this statement. People always like to keep their eyes on beautiful people or things. I am no exception. I don't deny that I am moved by your beauty, but if a person looks ordinary, love developed over time may be more convincing than love at first sight. Suwon was quite satisfied with this answer. His sincerity was the key, and it sounded much more refreshing than sweet talk. Sincerity is always the key. However, Suwon still has a question. What do you mean by should? Hearing this question, Jiangyu carefully thought about what he had just said and then found the key words. Wanwan, do you know what I look like to outsiders? Suwon probably knew it. She had read the original novel and of course knew how he was viewed by outsiders, but she still pretended not to know. At this moment, Suwon was no longer as awkward as before. Instead, she leaned on the chaise longue, looked at him and shook her head. Have no idea. My aunt often can't sleep at night because she is worried that I won't be able to find a wife. Jiangyu sighed. This aroused Suwon's interest, and he held up his head and waited for him to continue. What do you mean? Jiangyu was a little embarrassed and found it difficult to speak, but he was going to be honest today and couldn't hide anything. People in Kyoto are quite particular and pay attention to offspring. When the rich children in Kyoto turn 14, their families will arrange for several maids to serve as concubines for them. I won't go into details about this. I just remember that when I returned home that year, my aunt also found 2 maids to serve me, but I drove them out. My aunt thought I didn't like them, so she sent them to me again, but I drove them out without exception. My aunt then thought I was impotent and even asked a doctor to check for my hidden illness. But I was in good health and had no hidden illness at all. I don't know why, but before I met you, I was always indifferent to love between men and women, and I didn't like being alone with women. So in the eyes of outsiders, I was aloof from women and had a cold temperament. Even the servants in the yard were all men. My aunt even thought that I liked men, which made me sleepless at night. Until now, I have not been able to explain to her. According to my personality, if a woman has nothing to do with me and there is no need to get to know her with my personality, I probably won't take the initiative to make friends with her. No matter how beautiful the other person is, I will not be affected by her. But I am different from you. I think I will definitely get to know you, and get to know you well. When I get familiar with you, I will still like you as I do now, but that liking will change from love at first sight to love that grows over time. I will be attracted by your intelligence and wisdom because you are so special compared to ordinary girls. I will be very curious, so I want to get to know you. In fact, I have a hunch that you and I are destined, no matter in the past life, only in this life. When I was seriously injured, I always felt that there was a strange force influencing me, pulling me, and making me use up all my strength to go to the land temple, as if I was possessed by a demon. Otherwise, according to my original plan, after taking the poison-suppressing pill, I still had 6 hours to return to the county and find my own people to find a solution, instead of blindly waiting to die there. In Jiangyu's entire life, except when he was discussing matters with his subordinates, he had never spoken so much to anyone at once. In his opinion, it was not worth wasting time and effort. Before he fell in love with Su Wan, he would never talk so much to any woman. He also couldn't understand why a man had to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Wouldn't it be annoying to have so many women chattering around? Have to marry a woman who is of equal status, but whom they do not love? Are they really willing to share a man with other women? He had even thought before that he would rather die a widow than marry a woman he didn't like. He once thought that he hated women, but in fact he just hadn't met someone who really wanted to treat her well. Now that he has met her, his only goal is to marry her. He now believes in Yulao. He knows what it means to be together forever. He and Su Wan are this couple, they must be together. Su Wan listened with great interest. All her doubts were dispelled, as were her concerns about Jiangyu. The only thing left was Tsundra. I'm the one doing all the talking. Don't you have anything to say? Seeing Su Wan so calm, he became restless. I don't have anything to say, but I've heard everything I wanted to hear, and my doubts have been dispelled. So, why are you so sure that we will meet and get to know each other in the future? Speaking of this, Jiangyu had another piece of good news to share with her. He slowly approached her, because Brother Su has already won the first place in the Imperial examination and is now on his way home in glory. From now on, you will be the sister of the first place in the Imperial examination. Who wouldn't want to curry favor with him? I am no exception. Jiangyu suddenly leaned closer to Su Wan and softened his tone. He thought Su Wan would blush out of shyness, but she got excited and pushed Jiangyu away. My eldest brother passed the Imperial examination and became the top scholar. Did I hear that correctly? Did I hear that correctly? Her attention was on Su Jing at the moment, which made Jiangyu helpless. You heard it right. The top scorer of this year's exam is Su Jing from Xiangzhou. He is now wearing a red robe and has won the top prize. He is on his way home in glory. He will arrive in Xiangzhou in 3 days at most. After hearing the news, Su Wan felt fulfilled. She had successfully made up for the regrets in her elder brother's life. All the efforts were worth it. Su Wan cried with joy. When her eldest brother came into this world, he was the first one to show kindness to her, always treat her well, and stand by her side. He really meant a lot to her in her heart. Now it was Jiangyu's turn to feel bitter. It seemed that his passionate confession just now couldn't even get a single tear from her, while she cried happily for Su Jing. It was sour, really sour. After wiping away her tears, Su Wan noticed Jiangyu, who was looking depressed. He was leaning there lazily, and the fatigue on his face was obvious. She was very happy that he could tell her all his inner thoughts, and she understood Jiangyu better because of it. He is not a cold-hearted person. On the contrary, he is affectionate and loyal. He is just good at disguising himself, hiding his nature and building a hard shell to protect himself because there are too many people who want him dead. Every day, so how can I have the time to focus on women? The days in Yengao were one of the few peaceful times he had in his life. It was also because of this time that a most special girl lived in his heart. Before that, the Jiangyu in the original novel was not the same person as the Jiangyu he knew, because Jiangyu always treated her with the most gentle side in front of her. Thinking of this, Su Wan suddenly ran over, bent down and kissed him on the face, so lightly that it was over before Jiangyu could even react. He looked at Su Wan in astonishment, his pupils focused on one point, with surprise and joy. I was surprised that she would kiss me, but I was happy that it also meant that she accepted me.
Su Wan was also very shy.
It was her first time kissing a boy on the face. She turned her back, not daring to look at him, and said in panic, I will go back and share this great news with my family immediately, so that they can be happy and prepare to welcome my eldest brother's glorious return. He wanted to keep her, even wanted to hug her, but she had already opened the door and went out, leaving him alone in the room. Jiang Yu had been tense for so long, but at that moment he completely relaxed and lay on the chaise longue, where the scent of Su-won was still lingering. He gave a very silly smile. If Feng Ying and the others saw it, they would probably be shocked. The young master must have been possessed by another spirit, that's for sure. A number of officials in the provincial government had already received the news. The emperor announced to the world that someone had brought the imperial edict to Xiangzhou a few days in advance. It was shocking news that a state had produced a top scholar, and the people of Xiangzhou would also be proud of it. When the governor of Xiangzhou received the news, he personally led the officials of Xiangzhou to the city gate to welcome the #1 scholar and also brought his family along. The imperial edict had already been posted. On the morning of the second day after Su-won announced the good news, the people of Xiangzhou were in an uproar and almost everyone in the city was talking about it. How many years has it been since Xiangzhou produced a top scholar? The last time someone ranked second in the imperial examination was several decades ago, and the #1 scholar was even older. When the Su family heard the good news, they were so happy that they almost blew the roof off. The governor came in person to congratulate them. Su's mother asked her third son to go back and pick up Su's father, not wanting him to miss this highlight moment of her son. Of Xiangzhou were naturally also keeping an eye on this matter and received the news at the first time, especially the wife of the Earl of Ningyuan. When she heard that the top scholar in this year's exam was named Su, and that he was from the Su family of Yuyan Hall, she began to regret her ridicule of Su on that day. He quickly instructed Earl Ningyuan to deliver the visiting card as soon as possible, invite the person to his house as a guest of honor, and ask his son to meet him. It would be best if Su-won could be brought along as well, and he must invite him before Earl Changlong. After all, their family has several concubines. On that day, the governor, chief secretary, and prefect of Xiangzhou, all dressed in official robes, were waiting at the city gate with the Su family. The people sent from Shirley Pavilion reported that the top scholars team had arrived outside Shirley Pavilion and asked everyone to get ready. Su's father and mother were extremely nervous, and the people of Xiangzhou City were also waiting to catch a glimpse of the #1 scholar. The tea houses on both sides of the street that he had to pass were already crowded, and the street was no exception, with a huge crowd of people. Su-won stood among her brothers. She had dressed up specially today to greet her eldest brother in the best possible manner. Jiang Yu stood behind her, without her knowing when. He stretched out his slender fingers and gently touched her shoulder. When she turned around, she saw Jiang Yu with a smile on his face. His peach blossom eyes were more affectionate than usual. The last time they parted at the Moon Full West Tower, Jiang Yu slept for a whole day before waking up. His dreams were filled with her shadow, her charming smile, and her beautiful eyes. Afterwards, thinking that they were at their happiest and had to receive continuous thanks from officials from Xiangzhou, he thought they might not have time to see him, so he refrained from coming to see her. Today, he also wanted to welcome Su Jing with her at the city gate. When Su-won thought of that day, his heart couldn't help but beat wildly. Su-yun also noticed Jiang Yu and pulled him to stand next to him, and then stood with Su-won. "Brother Yu is here. Stand here quickly, my eldest brother is coming soon." When this kid talked about his elder brother, he couldn't suppress the pride in his tone. In the distance, a group of people dressed in red appeared. They were the team sent by the court to escort the top scholar back home. They were also wearing red robes. There were 2 carriages carrying rewards for the top scholar. There was another carriage for Su Jing to rest during his journey. When he was near Xiangzhou, he changed into the top scholar's clothes and came on a tall horse with a big red flower on his head. "Here he comes, our top scholar is here," Su-yun said excitedly, pointing ahead. Su's mother wanted to cry and laugh at the same time. Su's father held her hand the whole time, and his hands were sweaty from nervousness. As the team got closer, everyone could see more and more clearly that Su Jing was riding on a horse with his back straight, his eyes looking forward, and his manner dignified. He is like the wind, like the moon, like the stars, like orchid. At this moment, all the beautiful words can be used to describe him. Just like when Su-won first met the eldest brother, he knew what a gentleman is like, as gentle as jade, with a temperament as elegant as orchid. People all marvel at how beautiful and talented she is. What should the talented and beautiful scholar do? The third-place winner must not only be good at writing essays, but also have first-class character and appearance. However, even Su Jing, the first-place winner, has such a good-looking appearance. So, what kind of appearance must the third-place winner have? Because of this, the emperor had a dispute with many ministers at the time. The ministers really couldn't find anyone better than him to be the third-place winner. It was the words of the cabinet minister that made Su Jing's first place winner a final decision. He said, "If Su Jing is the third place, who can be worthy of the title of the first place in this exam? What it means is that he is the best and no one is better than him." Arriving at the city gate, Su Jing dismounted and first exchanged greetings with several adults. His current position might not be as high as theirs, but he was the top scholar and there was a high chance that he would be able to enter the cabinet in the future, so he had to be respectful. Then, Su Jing walked up to Su's father and mother and kowtowed to them 3 times, ignoring the yellow sand and dust on the ground. At that moment, Su's mother's tears fell like beads from a broken string. "Dad, Mom, my son is back. My son, you have worked hard. Get up quickly." The couple helped him up. Su Wan also started crying. The other brothers, except Su Yun, were all holding back their tears. Men don't shed tears easily, except for Su Yun. When Jiang met Su Wan crying, he took out a clean handkerchief and was about to give it to her to wipe her tears, but he was a step too late. Su Wan just picked up his sleeve and wiped her tears, saving her the trouble. When she saw clearly that it was Jiang Yu, she quickly let go of his sleeve. "Yes, sorry, I thought it was fourth brother." When Su Yun heard Su Wan calling him, he turned his head and asked hurriedly, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" She cried, her eyes tearful. Jiang Yu felt so distressed that he didn't even have time to feel disgusted with her. How could he despise her? Su Jing had already walked in front of Su Wan. He looked at her with a smile and wiped her tears with his fingertips. "Wan, big brother did it." Su Wan's defenses were broken, her lips pouted, and she cried even harder. Knowing that her crying looked ugly, she turned her back and covered her face with her hands, her shoulders shaking. Everyone was amused by her reaction. Since Su Jing still had to ride a horse to complete the parade, and there were many people watching in the city, Su Jing asked them to go back and wait for him. Several officials all brought a horse over, and they would parade through the streets with a #1 scholar, led by Su Jing, followed closely behind, and the guards would guard both sides for protection. The streets were already crowded, and it was impossible to walk at all. The Su family had no choice but to blend into the crowd and follow the team. The people voluntarily made way for him, just to catch a glimpse of the #1 scholar. They were clamoring and shouting at the top of their lungs. Jiang Yu and Su Chen had been guarding Su's mother and Su Wan, fearing that they would get lost or stepped on by others. Many rich young ladies in the attic, seeing the high-spirited Su Jing, were attracted by his bearing and appearance, and their faces turned red, and their hearts began to fall in love. Some of the brave ones threw their handkerchiefs out of the window, hoping that the wind would carry them to the top scholar's side, and he would see them. However, the August wind was not very strong, and the handkerchiefs were drowned in the crowd, or were stepped on and soiled, or were picked up. There were many people in the crowd who praised him, all of them admiring the good demeanor of the top scholar. Because there were too many people, Su Wan and her mother were separated by the squeezing, but fortunately, Jiang Yu was always behind her, separating her from the crowd and preventing her from being squeezed at all. If he saw a man approaching, he would stretch out his arms to keep some distance between them. Details are the most touching, so Su Wan doesn't have to worry about being offended at all. The way back home is very long, but there are so many people. If I walk slowly, I don't know when I will reach the end. Looking at the sun that was almost at noon, Su Wan's forehead was covered with a thin layer of sweat. There is no doubt that when the Su family arrived home one after another, they had missed lunch, but fortunately there was a cook at home who asked them to prepare the meal. Su Jing had also arrived and invited several adults to come in for dinner. How could they refuse the kindness of the top scholar? So the adults stayed for dinner. Su Jing had traveled a long way and was exhausted, so they didn't want to force him to drink too much. They just told him to have a good rest for a few days. The guards arranged by the court had been arranged to stay in the official in one after another. Su Jing had a month to reunite with his family at home. After a month, he would take office. The Su family didn't know what specific official position had been assigned to him. Several adults had a few drinks with him and agreed to meet again in the future and not leave until they were drunk. The gold-plated plaque with the emperor's personal inscription of the #1 scholar was hung right above the main seat in the main hall. It was a symbol of honor, and any visitor in the future would be able to see the emperor's great grace to the Su family. Su Wan counted the 2 trucks of rewards and put them into the warehouse. After all the trouble, it was already evening. The rewards from the palace were all of the best quality, rarely seen even among the common people. 500 taels of gold, plus a mansion of the top scholar in Kyoto. Jewels and jewelry were packed in boxes. Jade and silk were gorgeous and exquisite, and the jade and jadeite ornaments were more beautiful than one another. Su Jing had just returned home from the palace after meeting the emperor, and within less than half an hour, the nobles of Kyoto heard the news and came to him, sending him all kinds of gold, silver, and jewelry, all to congratulate him. There was no place to put them, so he simply brought them all back. Su Jing had no time to rest. After taking a shower and changing his clothes, he sat in the main hall with his family. It was inevitable that his family would ask about his well-being. Jiang Yu was also there, and Su Jing had to thank him for finding someone to take care of him in Kyoto, which saved him a lot of trouble, provided him with a lot of convenience, and also helped him avoid many misunderstandings. When I first arrived in Kyoto, I didn't know the prices there. Later I found out that if I rented Jiang Yu's house on a monthly basis, it would probably cost 100 taels a month. The old servant in the courtyard took care of him meticulously and personally took care of his food, clothing, housing, and transportation. He went up and saluted him with the highest courtesy of a gentleman. Jiang Yu quickly stood up to help him. "Brother Su, this is not allowed." "Yes, I want to thank Ayu for taking care of me. If you hadn't asked Uncle Qin to take care of me and take care of everything for me, how could I have been so successful in Kyoto? Therefore, I have to thank you, and you have to accept my greeting. This is the friendship between gentlemen. I should congratulate Brother Su. I finally got what I wanted and topped the list." As soon as Jiang Yu finished speaking, Su Jing bowed again, saying that he couldn't do anything about it. "Why is this?" "This bow is to thank Ayu for taking care of my family for me. His elder brother is not at home. Jiang Yu must have secretly found someone to take care of many things. This way, he can be safe and sound in Kyoto and at ease with his family so that he can prepare for the exam without distraction. We are all family. It's only natural that Brother Su's family is also my family." Jiang Yu looked at Su Wan meaningfully, and the look in their eyes when they looked at each other was not innocent. Su Jing is not often at home and spends little time with his sister, and even less with Jiang Yu, so he doesn't know the little things going on between them. Afterwards, the family talked about whether Su Jing had been dismissed from his position, which was what everyone was concerned about. Su Jing asked everyone to guess, but no one could guess. Su Wan felt that it couldn't be worse than his previous life. In the original novel, he won the 3rd place in the imperial examination and was at least a 6th-rank official in the capital, serving in the Hanlin Academy. Now he is the top scholar, so wouldn't that be even more impressive? Jiang Yu guessed that it should not be lower than the 6th grade at least, which was similar to what Su Wan thought. The other members of the Su family had no idea about this. The highest official they had ever seen was the governor of Xiangzhou. Xiangzhou was a medium-sized state, and the governor was of the 4th rank. For upper states, such as Zhongzhou, the governor was of the 4th rank, and for lower states, the governor was of the 5th rank. Seeing them looking at each other in bewilderment, none of them could guess. Su Jing didn't beat around the bush. After the imperial edict came out, His Majesty summoned me to see him together with the 2nd and 3rd place winners. The left and right prime ministers and the cabinet ministers were also present in the Hall of Supreme Harmony. His Majesty personally appointed me as the water commander of Xuanhe River, a 5th-rank official, to supervise the flood control of Xuanhe River and build dams to benefit the people of Xuanhe River. 1 month later, I took office. A 5th-rank official, so big? Su's mother didn't understand the pros and cons of the Du Shuai-Ling position. She only heard the rank. She got a 5th-rank official right away. How could that be tolerated? Not to mention her. In fact, other people didn't quite understand it either, but Suwon was not surprised. His elder brother topped the list with his policy papers on flood control, so the emperor naturally wanted to see if he was all talk but no action, so it was understandable that he was assigned this position to him. The Du Shuai-Ling is in charge of a lot of people. Basically, all the officials in the Xuanhe Water Conservancy Bureau have to listen to him. He is the highest leader. The Xian River is frequently flooded. The Xian River basin is barren because of the floods. I heard that life there is very hard. It is a barren land. Every year during the flood season, there are always casualties. Big Brother wants to build dams to control floods, which means he is always at the center of the storm. Su Chen often travels outside and hears a lot, so he understands a little bit. The position of eldest brother sounds glamorous, but the pros and cons are also obvious. The third son said this. Everyone's joy turned into worry. That place was not a good place. It was surrounded by yellow sand and mud every day. Because of floods, many places had no harvest, food was scarce, and the environment was not good. Life was very hard. Ah Jing, can you talk to His Majesty again and ask us to change our positions? It doesn't matter if it's a lower position. After all, Su's mother had never seen the world and thought that he could change his official position whenever he wanted. Su Jing smiled with his hands covering his lips, feeling helpless. Father Su couldn't help but complain. Look at what you're saying. The emperor has already given the position and you want to take it back just like that? Where is the emperor's prestige? But this job is too dangerous. The hardship is secondary. She is just an ordinary mother who wants her son to be safe. Mother, I like this job very much. It can inspire my fighting spirit. The flood of Xuanhe River has been a major concern of emperors of all dynasties. If it is well managed, it will be a great cause known throughout the world. The emperor said that he would give me 5 years. If there is any effect, at least the people of Xuanhe River can have a harvest and don't have to live in fear and displacement. After I return to Beijing, I will be promoted 2 levels and enter the cabinet directly. This is a mission that benefits the people. I have already petitioned His Majesty to divide the Xian River basin, have the taxes on the people in the area, and integrate the military and the people. Work will be used in lieu of relief, which will reduce the people's desire to migrate and allow more people to join the great cause of flood control. If you succeed, you will be recorded in the history books, and you will be honored in the imperial temple after your death. What an honor this is! If you want to reach the top, you must first suffer physically and mentally. There is no such thing as wealth and fame that can be obtained through peace and stability. This is why Jiang Yu admires Su Jing. He has a very broad vision. He is not trying to become a high-ranking official or gain temporary fame, but he truly serves the country and the people. Suwon was very pleased and proud to have such an older brother. Brother, what you said is very good. When God wants to give a man a great responsibility, he must first make his heart and mind suffer, his muscles and bones tired, his body hungry and empty, and his actions frustrated. This is to stimulate his heart and harden his nature, and increase his ability to do what he could not do before. Suwon felt that it was most appropriate to say this at this moment, and her words immediately broke down Su Jing's defense. Wanwan, what you want to say is exactly what I want to express. It's very well said. Su Yun didn't understand, but it sounded very impressive. Anyway, he couldn't say it, let alone the poor student Su Chen. Su Yi probably understood, so he just smiled. Jiang Yu was the most surprised. He was surprised that such a little girl could say such a prophecy. If it were known to the world, it would be very inspiring. Wanwan, you have great literary talent. Su Jing never hesitates to praise his sister. I didn't say this. I just heard it from someone else. I overheard it in the tea house and kept it in my mind. I definitely don't have such talent. Don't forget, big brother. I am a pretty girl. Suwon never took credit for it. These were not her original creations, so how could she claim them as her own? Even in another world, this was not allowed. Oh, The person who said that is also a strange person. I really want to get to know him, but I have to say it. Wanwan has a good memory. She can remember it after just one time. Someone thinks you are good. You are good no matter what. In the eldest brother's heart, Su-won is the best sister in the world. The words, "I was originally a beautiful girl," made him return to the pavilion in Jongyun Academy in a trance. From then on, the gears of fate began to turn. If it weren't for Wanwan, it wouldn't be his turn to take the top spot today. Su Jing brought up the past, taking everyone back to the late autumn of last year. He talked about how Su-won had enlightened him. He saw the wealth and prosperity of Kyoto, and he couldn't finish telling his family about it for a while. He talked about how solemn and majestic the Taiji Hall in the Imperial Palace was. He was full of yearning and secretly vowed in his heart that he must manage the Xuanhe River well. After he returned to Beijing, he would bring his parents and sister to Kyoto to earn a title of Lady of Honor for his mother.
Su-won felt embarrassed by Su Jing's praise.
Her family had never expected that she was not only good at business, but also understood flood control and could come up with good suggestions. After Jiang Yu listened to Su Jing's retelling, a picture seemed to appear in his mind. The girl was wearing plain clothes, and her eyes were so determined when she spoke of these views. At this moment, his heart was beating wildly for her. Jiang Yu thought that he might really fall into it, fall completely, and never stop until he died. He was willing to submit to her. Wanwan, you are such an amazing woman. I should also work harder. Su Chen sighed sincerely and secretly made up his mind. He has been busy with the border affairs in the hall. Now Duke Jiang has taken command and led an army of 100,000 north to guard the border. The two sides are in a standoff. The emperor has ordered the recruitment of soldiers, and children from noble families can also join the army, but they have to start as small soldiers. The current emperor governs the country with benevolence and never forces conscription. Anyone who voluntarily joins the army can receive a subsidy of 10 taels of silver, and half of the family tax will be exempted. Those with difficult families and many sons will choose to join the army. The state of Jin is now recruiting soldiers everywhere, with an initial recruitment of 100,000. Together with the border garrisons and the 100,000 horses and soldiers brought by Duke Jiang, a total of 300,000 can be gathered. Su Chen has already decided that once Xiangzhou starts recruiting soldiers, he will sign up immediately and embark on the path of defending his country. If he is lucky, he may even become a general. At this time, only Su-won and Jiang Yu knew Su Chen's thoughts. No one else in the Su family knew. If Su's mother knew, she would cry. Now, Su Jing's presence at home is a great joy. The reunion of just 1 month will pass quickly, and everyone cherishes the time spent with Su Jing. Su Yun took a special leave to come back and accompany Su Jing. Su Jing had a good sleep, and his room had been decorated long ago. Unexpectedly, in just half a year, under the leadership of Su-won, their family had walked from Yangao to Xiangjali, bought their own house, and opened a shop. The fifth child is also very good. He knows how to use his strengths to find a way out for himself. All the rewards and jewelry he brought back belonged to Su-won. She was the only girl in the family, and no one would compete with her for it. Of course, she would pick out a portion and return it to Yang Qingqing, which would also be a considerable dowry. The things bestowed by the emperor cannot be given to others and can only be kept as a gift by oneself. As for the silks and cloths, they were distributed according to color to make clothes for Su-won and his mother. His brothers got no share, and neither did Su's father. 500 taels of gold is equivalent to 5,000 taels of silver. Su Jing decided to take out 1,000 taels to build a charity hall in Xiangzhou to take in the helpless orphans in Xiangzhou and teach them to read. He would take out another 3,000 taels and take it to Xuanhe. When he took office, he would use it as relief money and buy a large amount of medicinal materials for storage in case of emergency. This move can be described as selfless and righteous. He would keep the remaining 1,000 taels for himself. He couldn't go to Xuanhe with nothing. The family was not short of money now, so Su Jing did not leave the money to his family, and his family members also supported his decision. On the third day after Su Jing came back, the Su family's doorstep was also very lively. The governor invited officials from Xiangzhou to wait for him to drink in the moonlit West Tower. Then, visiting cards from 2 earls' mansions have also been sent, first the Ningyuan Earl's Manor, and then the Changlong Earl's Manor. Su Jing looked at these invitations and didn't know which one to accept first. The Earl's Mansion was a title and aristocracy. Although they had no real power, they could not be offended in Xiangzhou. To be honest, after Su Jing came back, he just wanted to stay at home with his parents every day and didn't want to run around for social events, but he had to go. He called Su Wan and Jiang Yu and asked them to help him figure out where would be the best place to go first. After the last quarrel, Jiang Yu and Su Wan have reconciled, and Jiang Yu moved back to Furong Cottage. The Su family received a lot of gifts. There were so many officials, big and small, from Xiangzhou, and each family expressed their gratitude. The 2 earls' mansions also sent a lot, especially the Ningyuan Earl's Manor. Su Jing showed Su Wan the invitation from Earl Ningyuan, which said that the earl's daughter had missed the young lady very much since they parted at the last birthday party, and meant for Su Jing to bring Su Wan along. To be honest, Su Wan didn't want to go, but Su Jing wanted her to accompany him, so she went with him. Even though she didn't like the earl's mansion, she would have to deal with it many times in the future. Jiang Yu did not bring any personal emotions into the matter, but instead analyzed the situation very seriously for Su Jing. It was obvious to him that he knew what Ning Yuan's purpose was. However, if Su Wan wants to do business quietly in Xiangzhou in the future, he cannot offend them for the time being. Fundamentally speaking, Earl Ningyuan is more prominent than Earl Changlong. Earl Changlong's mansion is the last hereditary one, and there is no capable person in the family yet. I'm afraid it will be difficult to keep the title. It will only last for the last 20 years. Earl Ningyuan's father did make some contributions to the court, so His Majesty was happy to retain their titles. If that's the case, we should go to Earl Ningyuan's mansion first. Having said that, Su Wan still remembers the ridicule that Lady Ningyuan had said to her. She looked down on her before, and now she is trying to curry favor with her. Does she really have the nerve to do that? She insisted that her elder brother go to the Earl of Changlong's mansion first. Brother, go to the Earl Changlong's mansion first. Their invitation arrived first. Earl Changlong is older, so he should see it first. Since they want to curry favor, then they can meet anyone first. Besides, as long as Lord Changlong is still an earl, aren't they equals? Is this really okay?
If we do as you said. Shuhin Heshetati.
Jiang Yu knew that the little girl was holding a grudge, so he followed her thoughts and changed his tone to Su Jing. What Wan said makes sense. We are all earls. As long as we are in this position, we are all equal. You can go to the Earl of Changlong's mansion first.
Shuhin Nadi.
Since Jiang Yu said so, let's do it. As for the officials of Xiangzhou, they were left until the end, and this was the only way they could be arranged according to their status. Only Earl Ningyuan invited Su Wan to go with him, so she would not go to Earl Changlong's mansion. Su Jing wrote a reply and went to the Earl of Changlong's mansion the next day. This was something that Earl Changlong had not expected. He was in urgent need of making acquaintances with officials in the court. Su Jing was very likely to become a favorite of the emperor, so he was determined to succeed the title and was willing to put down his old face to curry favor in the family, and he introduced them to Su Jing one by one. Although their status might not be worthy of the position of the wife, it was not impossible for him to like them. In short, as long as he could marry the top scholar, he could make some moves in the court, make some achievements and speak well of them, and the title would be saved. Su Jing was a first-class gentleman. Facing the ladies, he avoided their gazes and did not dare to overstep the line. The ladies dressed in different ways, but none of them won the favor of the #1 scholar. The countess said frankly that her daughter saw the top scholar on the street and could not forget him and missed him madly. Su Jing didn't know how to respond to such explicit words. He also said frankly that he did not want to get married now. The emperor asked him to go to Xuanhe River to control the water. The conditions there were difficult, and most people could not bear it. Earl Changlong thought that Su Jing would work in the Hanlin Academy, but he didn't expect that he would be the Du Shuiling. Shuanha River is not a good place. Even if he wrote a good policy paper on water control, it would not be easy to implement it. But it is better to take a gamble than to come up empty-handed. Anyway, he has many daughters. If he wins the bet, he will have a great hero as his son-in-law, and his title will be as stable as a rock. He signaled his daughters to express their opinions, saying that they could endure hardships. They were all concubines' daughters and had no choice. When they heard that it was Shuanha, they all backed out. Although life in the Earl's mansion was not very rich, at least they had enough food and drink and did not have to suffer. They were all reluctant, and Su Jingdai felt very uncomfortable in the Earl of Changlong's mansion. No matter how good his temper was, he became a little irritable. Always force women on him? After lunch, Su Jing immediately said he wanted to leave, and Lord Changlong couldn't stop him. With a gloomy face all the way, it was really horrible. It was always like this in Kyoto, but 800 times a day I met young ladies from aristocratic families and daughters of officials. The result was still the same when he returned to Xiongzhou, and many people still wanted him to be their husband. Su Jing told Su Wan about the ordeal he had in the Earl of Changlong's mansion. Su Wan almost laughed to death when he saw his elder brother's face full of resentment. The third, fourth, and fifth brothers were all there. They were all very happy to hear what he said and laughed at his good luck in love. Brother, don't you really have anyone you like? Is already 22 years old, and it is time for him to get married. If he goes to Shuanha for a few years, he will have no chance to meet the girl. Su Jing shook his head. They don't really like me. When they heard that I was the Du Shui Ling, I could see the disgust in their eyes. Which girl would want to marry a husband who would make her suffer? That's because they are short-sighted. Brother, you will be a hero in the future of Shuanha River's flood control. It will only be their loss if they dislike you. Su Yun expressed indignantly that how dare someone look down on his elder brother. That's right. If we can't even share the hardships, why should we only want to share the happiness? Su Chen also hoped that his future sister-in-law would not be a vulgar person. Anyway, Su Jing was afraid, so he asked Su Wan if there were any young ladies waiting to get married in the Earl of Ningyuan's mansion, so that he could prepare himself mentally in advance. Su Wan nodded and said jokingly, Ningyuan Bo has several daughters who are still unmarried, and one of them is a legitimate daughter who is still waiting to be married. I have seen the eldest daughter, and she is also very pretty, dignified, and generous. Brother, why don't you meet her? What if you two are attracted to each other? Yes, big brother, parents are still waiting to hold their grandchildren. Shuyum followed Shut. Su Jing waved his hands quickly. I can't feel at ease until the flood in Shuanha River is eliminated. He is truly a good official who devotes his life to the country and the people. This is good for the country, but for his family, this kind of thinking is not good. My brother is not interested in marriage, so you can't force it. Anyway, if fate comes, you can't stop it. Just watch it and cherish it. Seeing that everyone was there, Su Chen brought the two maids he brought back from the servant market to Su Wan. The family has been revolving around the eldest brother these days. He arranged for someone to stay at home, but has not yet formally brought him to see Su Wan. Seeing that the third brother suddenly brought in two girls dressed in simple clothes, everyone hadn't reacted to what was going on. Su Chen explained, They are the two personal maids that Wan asked me to select for her at the servant market a few days ago. I went to the servant market almost every day, and I picked out these two girls who are quite skilled. They should have no problem dealing with the ruffians and unreasonable scoundrels on a daily basis. They are twin sisters, with miserable backgrounds, no parents, and have been learning self-defense since they were picked up. They are both 16 years old this year, and since everyone is here today, let's get to know each other. Su Wan looked at the two girls carefully. They looked very similar, but there were still differences between them. They were not exactly the same, and were not easy to tell apart. However, when they stood together, one looked more serious, while the other one secretly raised her eyes to peek at her. When she noticed, she quickly lowered her head. It was very cute. Sisters are very pretty, with regular features, and their hands are covered with calluses from years of martial arts training. What are your names? Who is the older sister, and who is the younger sister? Su Wan asked softly. To answer your question, I am your elder sister. You can just call me Lu Yun. The one with the more serious expression spoke. Her voice was as cold as her temperament. My name is Lu Ying, and I'm the younger sister. Lu Ying smiled sweetly, and her voice was just as lively as her personality. Twins are like this, one is quiet and the other is noisy. They complement each other, just like the fourth and fifth brothers. Lu Yun, Lu Ying, that's really nice to hear.
You will be mine from now on.
I will treat you well. You will move to the small compartment next to mine in a while. If you need anything for food, clothing, shelter, and transportation, just tell me, and I will take care of it for you. I am also younger than you, so I will thank you for taking care of me from now on. Su-won is different from ordinary masters. She is more approachable and knows how to respect people. She will only treat you as her employees as a boss, not as servants. Thank you for taking us in, young lady. We are very grateful. From now on, our lives will be yours. Lu Yun pulled Lu Ying to kneel down and kowtowed to Su-won. Su-won stood up and helped them up. Don't say that. Your lives are lives too. You have to protect me, but you also have to protect yourself. I hope that none of us will have to make such a choice one day. Lu Yun and Lu Ying had a good first impression of their master. Su-won took them to the small compartment next to his room. It was big enough for two sisters to live in, but it was a bit small. However, Su-won could usually hear them when he called out. They brought their own clothes, which were all relatively plain. Sister Lu Yun usually tied her clothes into a high ponytail, which looked very heroic. She carried a short knife on her waist, which made her look very cool. This also made it convenient for her to act more quickly when she was in danger. Sister Lu Ying is more like a girl. She dresses like a girl and knows how to wear her hair in various styles. She has a good aesthetic sense and knows what clothes to wear for different occasions. But the only shortcoming is that she has never been able to beat her sister. Her fighting power is not as good as Lu Yun, and her weapon is darts. The next morning, Su-won had to get up and dress up to accompany Su Jing to the Ningyuan Earl's mansion. Lu Ying had already prepared hot water for her to wash, as well as the clothes she would wear today, the bun she would do, and the jewelry she would wear. Everything was ready. She chose for her a green lotus-colored chest-length skirt and a bun with her hair hanging down, which made her look fresh and elegant. There shouldn't be too many accessories on your head, but each one should be just right. Su-won didn't expect that she had such skills and was shocked. Lu Ying simply replied that this was something she had to learn because she and her sister did not want to be separated. If the people who trained them wanted to send them to work together, then the two sisters would have to cooperate with each other. One must be good at martial arts, and the other must also be familiar with these daily skills, so that they can have a greater chance of staying in the same place to serve. They complement each other, which is really great. The servants brought a carriage and took Su-won and Su Jing all the way to the Earl of Ningyuan's mansion. Lu Yun and Lu Ying also followed. Now this job was finally not Su Chen's. In fact, Su Jing went to the Earl of Changlong's mansion first, which made Lady Ningyuan not very happy, but she couldn't get angry. Instead, she had to receive them warmly. Now, in her opinion, Su-won's status is worthy of her son, and her legitimate daughter is just waiting to be married. If this marriage can be negotiated, whether it is a marriage or a marriage, it will be a help to their Ning family in the court. Su Jing became the top scorer of this year's exam. The happiest person was Ning Jiqian because he felt that Su-won was getting closer and closer to him. He and his sister Ning Xiaomei were waiting for the Su family's carriage at the gate of the mansion. When they saw the carriage arrive, Su Jing helped Su-won get off the carriage, and his eyes finally lit up. He thought that Su-won would most likely not come, but now that she is here, it proves that he still has a chance. With Suzhou is still under discussion and has not been finalized. There is still time for everything. Mr. Su, you are so honored to be here. We are sorry for not coming to greet you in person. He came out to greet him on behalf of his family and was very polite. Ning Xiaomei greeted Su Jing with a red face. She was dressed very beautifully today. When she looked at Su-won, she pretended to be very familiar with her and took her arm. Sister Su, I haven't seen you for a long time. You have become more beautiful. She was not so enthusiastic last time and treated Su-won as a completely invisible person, indifferent to her. If it weren't for her eldest brother's current high status, someone of her status would not have bothered to get acquainted with a merchant girl like her. Su-won also said different things to different people and called her Sister May. Ning Ziqian also greeted Su-won before inviting the brother and sister into the house. Not to mention, the tone of the Earl of Ningyuan was much higher than that of the Earl of Changlong. The couple was waiting in the main hall. After Su Jing arrived, he did not show much enthusiasm and was deliberately pretentious. Su Zhuangyuan is really a young and promising man. That day you returned home in glory and rode a horse through the streets. My daughter told me about how brilliant and talented Su Zhuangyuan was. I see today that he is indeed extraordinary. On the day Su Jing came back, almost all the people in the city were looking at him, and those young ladies who were watching naturally included Ning Xiaomei. Today, Su Jing can be said to be the dream lover of the girls in Xiangzhou. Thank you for your praise, sir. Su Jing bowed to him. Mr. Su and Miss Su Lu are honored guests. Please take a seat. Lady Ningyuan seemed much more approachable than the last time they met. As expected, you only need to have status to play with these nobles. Su-won vaguely remembered that the last time she came to the Earl's mansion, the Earl's wife sat at the top, and she seemed to have a cold and world-weary look at everyone. Of course, this only applies to these unknown merchant girls. In the reception hall, Su-won sat for the first time in the seat where Lady Changlong had sat last time. From this place, he could see their faces and expressions more clearly. Ning Xiaomei sat next to her, taking care of her in every possible way, refilling her tea and water, and was very attentive. Ning Ziqian, who was sitting opposite her, was the same, always going to see Su-won when Su Jing was talking to his father. Although Su-won noticed his gaze, she never responded and acted as if she didn't see it. Mrs. Bo was also watching the scene, and she knew in her heart that her son really liked her, but it seemed that Miss Su Lu had no interest in him, so this was a difficult situation. But it doesn't matter. Their Ning family is the most prominent noble family in Xiangzhou, at the top of the food chain. Marrying into their family will only mean a life of glory and happiness. As long as the betrothal gift they give is sincere and substantial enough, the Su family will surely have no right to refuse. After all, if their daughter marries into the family, she will become a distinguished lady of an earl in the future. Ning Yuanbo talked with Su Jing about official positions. Hearing that he was going to take up the post of Xuana du Shuiling, it was a pretty high position, but it was not an easy job. Mrs. Bo also glanced at her daughter, and the idea of marrying her to Su Jing faded a lot. Just hearing the name of the place Xuanha, one can imagine what kind of situation it is, how barren it is, and how not even a blade of grass grows. If his daughter follows him to Xuanha, will she be able to endure the hardship? However, Ning Xiaomei herself didn't care at all. She still looked at Su Jing with a blushing face, with infatuation. The Ningyuan Earl and his wife were rather reserved and did not bring up the matter of marriage right away. At noon, the meal was placed in the pavilion in the back garden, and they ate while appreciating the flowers. It was just a little hot, so ice cubes were placed in the pavilion to cool off. Su Jing and Su-won both seemed a little reserved. Ning Ziqian and Ning Xiaomei sat next to them. Both of them took the initiative to pick up food for them, and the thing Su Jing said most was, "Thank you, I'll do it myself." Su-won also said a few words at the beginning, but seeing that he was persistent, she just nodded and smiled. Halfway through the meal, she simply put down her chopsticks and said that she was full. "Sixth miss, you feel full after just a few bites, but the food is not to your liking?" Lady Bo greeted in a caring manner. Su-won shook his head. "The food at the Earl's mansion is delicious, but it's hot in midsummer, and my appetite is not good. Now that you are here, even if you are not very happy, you can't show it on your face. You still have to observe basic etiquette." The brother and sister didn't plan to stay any longer, so they prepared to leave after lunch. The people from the Earl's mansion went out to see her off. Ning Xiaomei also said that if she had nothing to do, she would go find Su-won to play, or ask Su-won to come find her to play. Su-won agreed on the surface, but in fact she was thinking that it was unnecessary. The servant brought the carriage. Lu Yun and Lu Ying were waiting at the door. The scorching sun made the inside of the carriage extremely hot and stuffy. Sitting on it felt like entering a steamer or a sauna. The first thing I did when I got home was to go to the kitchen and get 2 bowls of ice-chilled mung bean soup to cool off. Jiangyu saw that she came back and seemed to be in a good mood. It seemed that she was not wronged in the Earl's mansion today. Sue's father also hurried back to the countryside to harvest rice. After harvesting the family's farmland, he would switch to growing peppers next year. He asked Su Jing to go back with him to pay homage to the Su family's ancestral tomb and repair the tomb. I passed the imperial examination and became the top scholar. This is such an honorable thing that all my ancestors must know about it. Can they be happy even in their graves? Moreover, the blind dates in Yengao were asking Su's father about Su Jing from time to time. Now the news of his passing the exam had spread to Qinghai County, and everyone in the surrounding area knew that the Su family had produced a top scholar. Since Su's father mentioned this matter, Su Jing naturally followed his father's arrangement and did not delay. He immediately prepared the carriage and returned home with him. Of course, he did not forget to ask Su Wan if she wanted to go back with him. Wan, do you want to go back with us? Su Jing asked. Spend with his sister. So, of course, he has to cherish the chance to spend time with her. He is now a complete sister-con because he firmly believes that Su Wan is the lucky star sent by God to their family. With her around, they can always turn danger into safety and disaster into blessing. Su Wan thought that it was time to go back and check on her flower fields and the bees she raised. Although her homepage was doing well, she couldn't neglect her side business and should leave herself a way out. Moreover, her eldest brother personally invited her to go home, so she had to go with him even if she had nothing to do. I have to go back, of course I have to go back. Su Wan agreed very quickly. The other brothers were busy with their own things and, of course, could not join in the fun. But Jiangyu had no idea what reason he had to go along this time. Forget it, forget it. She is with her brother anyway, so there is nothing to worry about. She can just take care of her own things during these few days. Jiangyu was very jealous. After Su Jing came back, Su Wan surrounded him every day and never even looked at him. Looking at Su Wan smiling so happily, he suddenly had an idea. In the evening, Su Wan was asking Lu Ying to help her pack some clothes to take home. Then a guard came to Su Wan and said that Qionyang wanted to see her for something and invited her to meet at Yueman West Tower. Su Wan wants to develop a hidden sideline business. No one in her family knows about it, so she can't advertise it when she goes out. Go alone secretly. However, for safety reasons, she took Lu Yun with her. Lu Yun has a cold personality and doesn't talk much, but Su Wan subconsciously trusts her more. It was almost nightfall, and she had to be sneaky when she went out so as not to be seen. The restrictions on women in Jin State were not very strict. There was no requirement for women to stay at home after dark. Therefore, in Jin State, even in the prosperous provincial capitals, there were many women who went out to parade in the streets at night. She went out, and she arrived at Yumengsi Tower smoothly. Of course, she also told Lu Ying that if her family found out and asked about it, she would tell them openly where she had been. She went to Yumengsila, either to look for her fourth brother or to eat, drink, and have fun. What else could she do? That place is Jiangyu's territory. It couldn't be safer. However, when Su Wan came, he really didn't expect Jiangyu to be there too, and was a little surprised. Jiangyu seemed to see the doubt in her heart and said with a smile, "Didn't you say last time that I'm also the owner of Bingjitang and should pay more attention to my own business? That's why I came here." His pair of peach blossom eyes were full of smiles, and he looked at Su Wan with deep affection. Su Wan was deeply moved by his gaze, and she now truly felt the feeling of being in love. It was still the chaise longue, Jiangyu lying on it, lazily playing with his jade ring. Su Wan came over, not knowing where to sit. She glanced at the round table in the room and was about to sit over, but Jiangyu moved himself, leaving a little space on the chaise longue, and patted it, motioning her to sit over. Jiangyu didn't think she would come over. He just wanted to tease her. Su Wan raised her eyebrows, pushed a strand of hair hanging in front of her chest behind her, and walked over calmly and sat next to him. She still has modern thinking, so this level of contact is not shameful to her. Besides, it's the person I like, so what? Jiangyu reacted quickly. lowered his head and chuckled, then simply lay down and propped up his head to look at her, with a smile on his lips. At first glance, he looked like a seductive male demon. Xiaonyang was watching this scene from the side. The corners of her mouth couldn't help but rise up, and she was laughing secretly. The young master's reason for looking for her to report on work was fake. The real reason was that he wanted to be alone with her. Xiaonyang would not be so inconsiderate. Sister Xiaonyang, why did you ask me to come here today? Is there something you want to say? Su-wan asked seriously. In fact, she didn't have much to say, but the young master asked her to do something, so she had something to do. Miss, this is the account book of recent purchases. It has the details. Please take a look. Xiaonyang didn't know what to say, so she could only bring the account book to her. Su-wan took the account book and started flipping through it. Xiaonyang was quite good at accounting. Her handwriting was neat and beautiful, and it was easy to understand at a glance. There was no problem. Jiangyu picked up a strand of her hair from behind and twisted it around his fingertips. Su-wan felt something and turned her head slightly to look at him. He raised his eyebrows at her. Su-wan glared at him, but said nothing in the end. Xiaonyang saw all these sweet details, and she didn't understand why she had to suffer this. Su-wan returned the account book to Xiaonyang and asked her if she had anything else to say. Xiaonyang said again, "The Bingjitang will be ready soon, and we can open it on a chosen day. I have selected 3 auspicious days. Which day would you like to choose?" A piece of paper wrote down the 3 best days for opening the business according to someone's calculations. After Su-wan finished reading it, he showed the note to Jiangyu. "Which day do you think is good?" "The one above is September 2nd, one is September 18th, and the other is September 23rd. Jiangyu pointed to September 23rd. "This is it, it looks good." "I think so too. Let's choose this day. Sister Xiaonyang, if you still need money, just ask me for it." No, I have enough money. I invited you here today for this matter. I have already spread the news that the Ice Skin Jade Bone Cream was created by Dr. Sun according to your instructions. Recently, many people have been asking about the truth of the news. I believe that the business will be good on the day of opening. Su-wan had already instructed him about this matter the last time they met, so Xiaonyang had already taken care of it. Okay, I get it. Thank you for your hard work. It's not hard. Xiaonyang won't bother you two anymore, and will take her leave now. Xiaonyang bowed and quickly left. Of them left in the room, Jiangyu was still happily playing with the ends of her hair, and Su-wan ruthlessly snatched her hair back. "I have to go back home with my elder brother early tomorrow morning. It's getting late, so I'll go back first. Luyun is still waiting for me downstairs." After she finished speaking, she stood up and was about to leave. She heard Jiangyu sighing from behind. "Sixth miss is really heartless." This sentence successfully attracted Su-wan's attention. She looked at him speechlessly and sat back down. "What do you mean? Tell me clearly. How am I being heartless?" Jiangyu pointed to his cheek, where she kissed him last time. Thinking back on it now, the feeling was still like a feather tickling his heart. He kissed and ran away without any explanation. Jiangyu spoke in a wrong tone, making Su-wan blush. "I don't have any, don't talk nonsense." Su-wan remembered that she had indeed kissed him, and then ran away, without any explanation. Now, listening to his tone, she felt like a scumbag. "I'm not talking nonsense. Some people forget what they did because they have a brother who dotes on them. It's a pity that I was flirted with by a girl for the first time, and I didn't even have a name." Jiangyu felt more and more aggrieved, and even his expression was tinged with grievance. The more he spoke, the more outrageous it became. Su-wan quickly reached out and covered his mouth. "Don't talk. Why are you jealous of my brother?" Jiangyu had his mouth covered by her and could only look at her quietly. Only then did she take back her hand. "What explanation do you want?" "Can I explain it to you?" Su-wan compromised. She really compromised. She just wanted to say that she couldn't resist this temptation at all. Jiangyu saw that the little rabbit had taken the bait and tried his best to suppress the upward curve of his mouth. He cleared his throat and asked calmly, "So why did you kiss me?" Could ask such a direct and blunt question. He is so shameless. Isn't it said that people in ancient times were very innocent? Could it be that Suwon met a fake one? I just want to kiss you, why else? Suwon knew the standard answer, but she just didn't say it and just played around. So you can kiss whenever you want. I want to kiss now too. Jeongyu's mouth was covered again before he could finish his words. How can you be so shameless? Suwon gritted her teeth on the surface, but she couldn't help feeling happy in her heart. What did I say that I have no shame? Jeongyu shrugged. Suwon had no way to deal with him. Suwon took a deep breath. She looked at Jeongyu seriously and said, I kissed you because I like you. You're pretty, right? She raised her finger and hooked his chin, then slowly moved closer to his face. Jeongyu held his breath for a moment and swallowed unconsciously. Looking at his slightly red ears, Suwon thought to herself, little guy, I can't kill you with this. He reached out and pinched her wrist, and sparks seemed to ignite in his eyes. When she was still a little distance away from his face, Suwon stopped and slowly closed her eyes. At this moment, Jeongyu really wanted to kiss her, but his reason told him that he couldn't do that. Suwon is still young, and he would feel guilty if he did that. His Adam's apple rolled again, and he used a little force to let her fall into his arms. One hand was clenched into a fist, and he just used his arms to gently circle her from behind, without crossing the line in the slightest. At that moment, all of Suwon's senses were taken over by the scent of him, and she felt like a deer was beating its head in her heart. Grow up quickly, okay? Suwon suddenly froze. Her eyes felt a little sore, but she felt very satisfied in her heart. Jeongyu really likes her, so he is so patient and restrained. If she doesn't even understand this, then she is a fool. He started from emotion and ended with etiquette. He felt that he was still young, so he tried his best to hold back and not want to get involved with her, otherwise he would feel guilty. Suwon took the initiative to hug his neck and rested her chin on his shoulder. How big is big? Jeongyu felt nothing but satisfaction at Suwon's initiative. Cuteness means forbearance and restraint. He respects her and also respects their feelings. Girls can get married when they are 15, but in my opinion, they have to be 16 or 17 to be considered truly grown up. Suwon didn't expect that he would be so strict when it comes to love matters. Then you'll have a lot to wait. She is only 14 years old now. However, being cared for like this by the boy you like is really a crazy and exciting thing. At least in terms of character, Jeongyu is up to standard. He finally understood how heart-wrenching it was when the hero in a TV drama said to the younger heroine, I'll wait for you to grow up. She now felt the same way and found it very sweet. Jeongyu raised his hand and stroked the black hair on her back, now and then, with extreme gentleness. He was so stiff at the moment that he dared not move any part of his body except his hand. Smelling the sweet fragrance of the girl's hair, he was afraid that he would not be able to resist and would hold her tightly in his arms. He simply held her shoulders and asked her to sit down again. He also sat down, changing his nonchalant look just now, which formed a sharp contrast with his current serious look. I'm willing to wait, no matter how long it takes. It's only 3 or 4 years. How can Jeongyu not wait? She was afraid that during this period, someone else would live in her heart because he couldn't always be by her side. Suwon just felt that this guy's love words sounded quite realistic. But even so, she has one thing she has to complain about. Actually, the porridge you cooked last time was so sweet that it almost choked me to death. That day, she had a quarrel with Jeongyu and asked all the questions she wanted to ask. Afterwards, she insisted on drinking the bowl of porridge with a frown on her face the whole time. This guy must have put sugar in it instead of water, causing her to feel greasy after drinking it, and the sugar content exceeded the limit. This caught Jeongyu off guard. He was in disbelief at first, but soon the expression on his face turned into embarrassment. That night, Suwon was hungover. He thought that drinking some light sweet porridge early in the morning would make him feel better, so he had the idea of cooking for the first time in his life. Light the kitchen fire in Yanghaoeo early on, so everything went smoothly for him from beginning to end. Adding sugar halfway through, he added 2 spoonfuls, tasted it, and it wasn't very sweet, so he poured half a jar in and then didn't taste it again. It was his fault. This is my first time cooking porridge, so I'm not very skilled yet. I'll pay more attention next time. He also hoped that there would be a next time, that a noble young man who is only good at wielding a sword, playing chess, calligraphy, and painting would actually be willing to cook for a girl. Okay, I look forward to your progress. Suwon nodded, unable to hide the sweet smile on her face. Jiangyu glanced at the night scene outside the window and thought that it was time to take her back home, as he had to get up early tomorrow. You will go back home with your elder brother tomorrow. I also need to go to Yenzhou for some business. It will probably take me 20 days to a month to come back, so I may not be able to make it in time for the opening of Bingjitang. When Suwon heard this, she thought of Jiangyu at this time, who was still fighting wits and courage with his uncle who is not related to him by blood, so she didn't ask any more questions. Then be careful and take care of yourself. Let's go back. Between the two, the atmosphere seemed to have changed a lot, mixed with the kind of ambiguity and tension that can only exist between men and women. Luyun was waiting downstairs. When she saw Jiangyu next to Suwon, she did not show any surprise or curiosity, but called out calmly, "Girl, shall we go home?" "Well, we've been waiting for a long time. Let's go home." The more Suwon tried to pretend that nothing had happened, the easier it was for people to see the clues. Her face and neck are still pink, and the smile on her face gives people a more sweet feeling. The streets outside were very busy. Suwon and Jiangyu were walking side by side, while Luyun was following them silently behind. On the way home, there is a section of the alley that you have to walk through. The alley was a little dark, with only faint lights coming from the doors on both sides. "Girl, it's getting dark. Please watch your feet. Luyun will go ahead to scout the way for you." Luyun is a very qualified female bodyguard. She walked to the front and paid attention to the surroundings to make sure there were no ferocious wild cats jumping out and scaring the girl. After Luyun walked to the front, Suwon looked up and made eye contact with Jiangyu, who was also looking at her. She moved closer to him and quietly reached out to hook her fingers around his. Jiangyu turned around, wrapped her hand in his palm, and held it tightly. Both of their faces grew even wider, with pink bubbles floating between them. His hands usually looked long and beautiful, with distinct joints, and now they could just cover her entire hand. The palms of his hands were covered with thick calluses from years of holding swords, and they felt rough to the touch, but gave people a sense of security. They were almost home. Suwon was about to let go, but there were 2 stone lions at the foot of the steps at the door, and Suyun suddenly jumped out from the side. "What are you doing?" Suwon was frightened by him and quickly shook off Jiangyu's hand. Luyun also turned around and looked at Suyun in confusion. She didn't even notice that there was a person squatting under the stone lion. "Nothing, fourth brother. You scared me. Why are you squatting here?" Suyun didn't rush to answer her question, but walked up to Jiangyu. He was still a head shorter than him, so he had to look up at him when he spoke. Jiangyu stood there calmly, letting him look at him with a smile on his face. "You are such a double-faced guy. You didn't admit it before, but now you are openly flirting with my sister. How dare you hold her hand? Which hand are you holding? This hand, right? I'll chop yours off." Suyun rolled up his sleeves and was about to take action. Seeing this, Suwon grabbed his arm and said, "You have misunderstood, fourth brother. It's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. I'm not blind. How could I be wrong? You two have neither the permission of your parents nor the words of a matchmaker, and he holds your hand. Bah, you scoundrel. Today I will rid the people of this evil." Suyun can be called a new generation master of talking nonsense, but he is also really stubborn and will do what he says. "Luyun, hurry up and grab him." Seeing that he was about to lose control of the young man, Suwon called Luyun over. Luyun listened to Suwon very much. Her orders were like decrees from the Queen Mother, and he followed them without any hesitation. She came up and grabbed Suyun's other hand and subdued him with a scissors hand gesture. Suyun's hands were held behind his back. Hey, don't hurt him." Suwon felt sorry for Suyun again. "No, girl, I know my limits. He won't be hurt," Luyun said seriously. Suyun just couldn't move, but being subdued by a girl in one move was really too embarrassing. At this moment, he secretly swore in his heart, "No, I want to learn martial arts too." "Suwon, you are awesome. You actually teamed up with others to bully your own brother. You are really a traitor." Oh, fourth brother, actually, I was the one who took the initiative. I took the initiative to hold his hand. Soo-won pulled his sleeve and explained awkwardly. Soo-yun was so angry. Girls should not be kept at home when they grow up. Girls should not be kept at home when they grow up. Let me go. He asked Loo-yun to let her go. Loo-yun subconsciously looked at Soo-won. Soo-won nodded, and she let go. I went to deliver something to you, and found out that you were out, so I waited for you at the door. But you turned your elbow outward, which made me so angry. Soo-yun felt so aggrieved that he moved his arms. He didn't want to cause trouble for Jong-yu now. He just didn't like everything about him. He can't even do anything to a woman now, let alone Jong-yu. Soo-yun was furious and turned to go home. Soo-won went up to him and hugged his arm and acted like a spoiled child. Hey, fourth brother. I'm not a disloyal person. You are my dearest brother. Don't be angry. It's okay if I'm wrong. Seeing her acting like a spoiled child, Soo-yun's anger subsided a lot, but he was still holding his breath proudly. Not long after you left, someone sent a lot of things over, saying that your second brother bought them for you and asked someone to bring them back to you. It seemed that there was also a letter, but I didn't read it. He went to find Soo-won for this matter. My second brother gave it to me? Soo-won was very surprised. Well, it's a mess. There are several packages, and I don't know what's in them. You can go back and take a look for yourself. Soo-yun was also curious about what it was. My second brother also bought some for my mother, but it was far less than what he gave to Soo-won. Jong-yu followed behind silently. The way the little girl defended him just now made him very satisfied and happy. He was willing to be beaten by Soo-yun a few times. Soo-won returned to the room, and Soo-yun also came to join in the fun. She saw that the table was full of small packages wrapped in cloth, and there was a letter written specifically for her, which read, Dear Won-won. He opened the letter first. It began with an address to Yen Hwan, and then it described the places he had been to with Dr. Sun and the patients who had left a deep impression on him. He also collected some things that represented the local customs and culture along the way and brought them back to her. The characteristic costumes of some small villages are similar to those of modern ethnic minorities, a bit like the Miao costumes, because they are also matched with silver ornaments. He also went to the mountains to collect herbs and found rare chicken blood vine and bodhi wood. He personally made a bracelet and a ring for his mother and sister respectively. Although they didn't cost any money, the thought was precious. There were also some strange musical instruments, such as halusi and bamboo pan flute, and he even asked for amulets for everyone in his family when they passed by some popular temples. Second brother is like this. His concern for you is always shown in the details. Although he is thousands of miles away, he is always thinking about his family. Seeing the comfort and joy between the lines of his words, Soo-won also knew that he was living a good life with Dr. Sundae. This was the life he liked. He just didn't know how his second sister-in-law was doing now and in the future. Sun Linger was also mentioned at the end, saying that she had run out of hair soap and floral soap and they were not available anywhere else, so she hoped Soo-won could bring some to her. This was naturally a piece of cake. The second brother wrote her the address. They were now in a small town in the Jongnan area. She immediately asked Soo-yun to inform her uncle and prepare a set of goat milk soap. Fourth brother, Miss Linger has run out of soap. Second brother mentioned in the letter that we should bring some to her. We promised to pay for all of her. Ask uncle to prepare a batch of various scented hair soaps and goat milk soaps, as well as a few pieces of dyed goat milk soaps, and send them to the place mentioned in the letter. Soo-won handed him the letter. Soo-yun nodded, folded the letter, and put it into his sleeve. I'll tell my uncle tomorrow. It's getting late. You should hurry up and get ready, take a shower, and go to bed. Aren't you going back to your hometown with your elder brother and father early tomorrow morning? Soo-yun yawned, and the anger that Jong-yu had just provoked had subsided a lot. I know. You should go back soon. You look so sleepy. Soo-won pushed him out. When passing by Loo-yun, Soo-yun frowned, feeling a little dissatisfied. No, he must find a master to teach him and get his revenge. It would be so embarrassing to be subdued by a woman. After he left, Lu-ying looked at her sister and asked, Sister, have you offended the fourth young master? Lu-yun pursed his lips. I guess so. She didn't say much about the details and still maintained her aloof image. Lu Ying couldn't gossip about her because she was too tight-lipped. Suwon was not in a hurry to sleep. She fiddled with the things her second brother had sent back one by one. She knew nothing about the halusi and bamboo pan flute. Alas, apart from having some business acumen, she doesn't know anything else a rich lady should know. When you move to Kyoto in the future, you must learn some practical things, such as playing the piano, chess, calligraphy, painting, poetry, singing, and drinking tea. You must have something you can show off, right? Unfortunately, she knew nothing about it. The only thing she knew now was how to make tea from Madame Xie. Life goes on, fighting goes on, and she thinks it's time to take some elective courses. The next morning, she took Lu Yun and Lu Ying and followed her father and brother on the road back to Yangao. Jiang Yu followed Su's mother to the door to see her off. Suwon looked back at him and happened to meet his heart-wrenching gaze. She thought that they would not be able to see each other for another month or so. He said last night that he was going to Yanzhou. I hope he wasn't going there to fight. In the carriage, and Suwon slept soundly with his head resting on Lu Ying's legs. Lu Yun was outside with the servant setting up the carriage and returned to Yangao in the evening. She was used to living in a big house and was a little uncomfortable returning to this small courtyard. However, the chirping of cicadas and croaking of frogs outside made her feel a rare sense of comfort. The next day, the people in the village heard that the #1 scholar had returned, and they all gathered at the Su's house to see him. They were very curious and wanted Su Jing to wear the #1 scholar robe to show them. Unfortunately, Su Jing did not bring back the #1 scholar robe, but Su's father also prepared a lot of candies, biscuits, fruits, and other things to distribute to the villagers as a way to share in the good luck. In their eyes, the current Su family is a family where one person has achieved success, and everyone in the family has benefited greatly. They have left behind the life of a peasant and have become the upper class. Everyone wants to curry favor with them. In the future, the Su family will only become a legend in Yangao and will be passed down by word of mouth. Su Jing followed her father up the mountain to pay homage and discuss hiring someone to repair the ancestral tomb. After Suwon came back, she had not properly visited the tombs of her ancestors, so she also had to cross mountains and rivers to sweep the tombs and pay homage. Suwon's grandparents are buried halfway up the mountain, and he also has to visit the graves of his great-grandfather and great-grandmother. Su's father and Su Jing each took a sickle, and soon they had to cut the weeds around the grave themselves. Suwon is responsible for placing the tributes and the incense table. After returning, Su's father will greet the people who specialize in repairing the tombs and then decorate this place. It is a little thought from their descendants. He also hopes that their spirits in heaven can bless their descendants and ensure peace and prosperity. Ancestor worship is also very tiring, as it requires climbing mountains and cutting grass. Although Suwon does not have to do it himself, Su's father and Su Jing are both sweating profusely, and they did not finish until the afternoon before returning home. My body was covered with weed seeds that had stuck to my clothes and hair, and I felt itchy all over. Fortunately, Lu Ying had boiled a lot of hot water at home, so Suwon could take a hot bath as soon as she came back. Some parts of her body were covered with red marks from her scratches. Sure enough, after living a life of luxury for too long, it is easy to suffer from affluence diseases once you arrive in the countryside. I didn't feel this way when I was in the village before. Lu Ying looked at the red marks on her body from scratching with heartache, but there was nothing she could do. It's okay. I feel much better after washing. It will disappear after a while. Girls have delicate skin, so be careful next time. Don't scratch it too hard. Some places have broken the skin, and you don't know how painful it is. Lu Ying was really heartbroken, and her brows were tightly furrowed. Because he was tired after a long day, Suwon fell asleep soon after he got on the bed. The first thing I did when I woke up the next day was to run to the back garden of my house to check the beehives. Afraid of being bitten by bees, she still took precautions. Even though bees don't bite people, there were so many of them, so just in case. She wore a hat with a gauze scarf, and then opened the beehive to see that the flowers in the garden had already bloomed. The red roses and the light red roses covered the entire fence, which was very beautiful. Already honeycombs in the beehive, and you can clearly see honey attached to them, but there is not enough, so more honey needs to be added. This honey, which is raised purely from fresh flowers, smells sweet and looks thick. When Luing saw this, he was still worried that the girl might be bitten. "Girl, why do you keep so many bees in your yard? It's so scary. What if they sting you?" They generally don't bite people, and this kind of bees are beneficial insects. They can produce honey, which has the effect of beautifying and nourishing the skin. It is very good to drink with water. It is good for women and is better than brown sugar. It is very expensive in the market. Even if you have money, you may not be able to buy it. Besides, no one has mastered the technology of beekeeping yet. If I can do it here, I will be the first one. This is all money. Do you still think they're scary now? Suwon explained to her. If you can make money, that's another matter. Indeed, once something is given a good price, it is a good thing. Suwon still has to go to the flower fields to see whether the more than 20 beehives have formed honeycombs and started producing honey. If successful, he can consider planting a few more acres of flower fields next year and expanding the scale of the apiary. It just so happened that Jiang Sheng and his wife were busy in the flower field, watering the flowers. The weather is getting hotter and there is less rainfall, so the flowers need to be watered every 2 days. Now they are blooming very well. The beehives under the shed have all formed honeycombs, and there is a lot of honey inside. In 2 months, we can harvest directly. Jiang Sheng and his wife knew yesterday that Suwon had returned, but Suwon and her family were busy, so they didn't go to look for her. Because of working for Suwon, the family has a fixed income every month. Jiang Sheng's mother's health has improved a lot, and Jiao Sheng has grown taller and gained weight. Compared with her previous skinny appearance, she is now much prettier. Although she couldn't speak, her smile was particularly contagious. Just by standing there quietly and smiling at Suwon, Suwon could tell from her smile that she had a lot to say but couldn't express it, so it turned into excitement. Jiang Sheng was concerned that his wife was still young and he had not yet consummated his marriage with her. He was afraid that she would have a baby and it would be too harmful to her body to give birth now. Jiang was not in a hurry either. She was the one who instructed her son about this matter. It would not be too late to wait until Jiao Sheng was 2 years older. She should not be like her, hurting her body and having to stay bedridden for the rest of her life. Jiao Sheng is lucky enough to marry Jiang Sheng, a man who cares about his wife. Although his shoulders are not strong enough, he is responsible. His mother-in-law is also very nice and considerate of her. Look at how well the garden is maintained. It's rare to see even a weed. The flowers are blooming very freshly because they water them diligently. The Su family's yard is usually kept clean and tidy thanks to them. Father Su is just a rough man. He takes care of his few acres of land every day. His children and wife are not at home, and he lives a rough life. How could he take care of these things? Therefore, the monthly salary that Suwon gave them was still worth it. There is nothing much to do at home, just to tell Jiang Sheng and others that the honey can be collected in more than a month. Su's father was looking for someone to repair the ancestral tomb, so he had to be busy these days. His eldest brother also had to help, so Suwon stayed at home for several days, without eating or sleeping. The third brother gave her the key to Jiang Yunha's house and asked her to use it to clean the yard so that it wouldn't be left abandoned. So Suwon took Luyun and Luing to Uncle Zhang's house to do a thorough cleaning. The peach tree in their family has produced many peaches, and there is a lot of peach gum on the trunk, but peach gum is too troublesome to handle. Although it is a very nutritious thing, it is troublesome. The peaches are still a little short of maturity and will have to stay on the tree for a while longer before they are fully ripe. However, the osmanthus flowers in his yard were blooming again, and no one was appreciating them if they were left here, so Suwon simply asked Luyun and the others to pick them all and bring them back to the workshop so that he could make new osmanthus soap. For making soaped oil or directly distilling floral dew. Golden osmanthus is a very fragrant variety with a strong aroma. Many people like osmanthus. After Su's father and eldest brother finished the work at the ancestral tomb, The family had to find someone to harvest the rice. After the rice was harvested and dried, Sue's father would transport it all the way to their home in Xiangzhou. From then on, Sue's father would move to Xiangzhou to live permanently and be with his children and daughter-in-law, and would just come back to visit from time to time. Su Jing stayed at home for about 7 or 8 days before returning to Xiangzhou with his sister. In Xiangzhou, there is still a banquet hosted by the governor that I have not attended. As soon as Su Wan entered the city, he found that recruiting was taking place at the city gate. It seemed that a war was about to break out on the border, which also meant that his third brother was about to leave home and go to the battlefield. Thinking of this, Su Wan felt a little uncomfortable. After all, the front line was full of swords and blood. The third brother had suffered a lot. Back at Furong Cottage, the gatekeeper came to help lead the horses to the stable. In the yard, 2 maids were also cleaning the courtyard. When they saw Su Wan and Su Jing coming back, they greeted them politely. Su's mother was not at home. She was probably in Yuyan Hall or the workshop. I looked at the time, and she should be back soon. Su Wan didn't expect that his third brother was at home. The hibiscus tree in the yard was half open, and the fragrance of hibiscus was floating around the yard. The third brother was sitting under the tree in a daze, not knowing what he was thinking. When Su Wan and Su Jing came to his side, he finally reacted and looked up at them. "You guys are back." The brother and sister stayed away for 8 or 9 days, and Su Qin was very surprised to see them back. A few days ago, he signed up to join the army, and the day after tomorrow would be the final assembly day. However, because his sister and elder brother had not returned yet, he wanted to announce this matter in front of them. He wanted to say hello to Su's mother in advance, but when he saw her smiling so happily and asking him about his well-being, he suddenly didn't know how to start. He made the decision privately. The situation on the front line was unpredictable. This trip might be a farewell forever. Although he was sure he could protect himself, Su's mother's temper was such that if she knew about it, she would probably scold him to death and would not let him go no matter what. She might even cry and ruin his health. Now that Su Wan and his elder brother are back, he wants them to help persuade Su's mother. His elder brother is concerned about the country and the people, so he should be able to understand his desire to defend his country, right? Su Wan always supports the decisions of each of their brothers and gives them the right guidance, so she should agree. Well, now that the family affairs are settled, Wanwan and I are going back to Xiangzhou. It's rare to see you look so worried, but what happened? The eldest brother is the eldest brother. He can always see the unusualness of his younger brothers at a glance. The third brother has the most simple and unpretentious temperament. He is diligent, honest, and the easiest to understand. Su Jing sat down opposite him, and Su Wan followed suit. Donger, the maid who was cleaning the room, made them a pot of tea. Su Chen's thoughts were seen through by his elder brother at a glance, so he gritted his teeth and told him what was in his heart. "Brother Wanwan, before I say anything, I have to apologize to you first." He lowered his head, and his clenched fists showed his nervousness at the moment because he was afraid of being scolded. When Su Wan saw him like this, she immediately understood that her third brother might have signed up for the army without asking for permission first. And Su Jing also realized that what the third brother wanted to say was not a trivial matter. "We are biological siblings. You have done nothing wrong to us, so why are you asking for forgiveness? If you have anything to say, just tell me." Su Jing would never blame his own brothers no matter what. He hasn't done anything harmful, so what crime has he committed? "Yes, third brother, you can say whatever you want to say and do whatever you want to do. Follow your heart. As long as you are doing it for your own good and have a clear conscience, you will not let anyone down, and you will not be guilty." Su Wan indirectly expressed his attitude, which made Su Qin feel much more relieved. Under the expectant eyes of his elder brother and younger sister, he finally said, "I signed up for the army without telling you. The day after tomorrow morning, the troops gathered in Xiangzhou will rush to the front line." As for Su Wan, she had already prepared for it, so she was not too surprised. But for Su Jing, it was a bombshell. The teacup he had brought to his mouth suddenly stopped, and his fingertips exerted a little force, turning a little white. His expression changed from disbelief at first, to confusion, and finally to relaxation, but he still threw the cup heavily on the table with some emotion. "It's such a big thing. Does mother know about it?" he said in a calm tone. Su Chen shook his head. "I didn't tell Mom." "Nonsense. How dare you do something as serious as this without consulting me? How sad would my parents be if they knew about this? I wanted to wait for you and wanted to come back to discuss this matter, but you haven't returned for a long time. Today is the last day of conscription, and it's too late for me. I can only do it first and report later." Su Chen explained with a guilty look on his face. Su Jing narrowed his eyes and looked at him with a very oppressive feeling, which made Su Chen dare not look directly at his elder brother. Su Wan did not dare to say a word for the time being. A moment, Su Jing sighed and asked earnestly, "Are you doing this on a whim, or have you been waiting for this day for a long time?" "I have planned this long ago, and I won't hide it from you, big brother. The hunter Jiang in Yengao was actually my master. I have been learning martial arts from him since I was 7 years old, and I have been preparing to serve my country with my martial arts skills. Now the border is in danger, and every citizen has a share of responsibility for the fate of the country. Big Brother has studied hard for many years, and now he has passed the imperial examination, but he still worries about the country and the people. Big Brother and I have the same idea, and we are all doing this for our country, who has always been not good at speaking and cannot use any fancy words, now uttered such passionate words. It can be seen that he is determined to defend the country, and no one can pull him back. That year, when the master saw him for the first time, little Su Chen was holding a branch and playing with the children in the village, pretending to be a general. He made a few random gestures, and Jiang Yunhe could see that he was a good candidate for martial arts. By the time little Su Chen was helping to fetch water for the family alone, despite his young age, his arm strength was enough for him to lift half a bucket of water without spilling it. Jiang Yunhe asked him, "Boy, do you want to be a hero in the future?" Little Su Chen heard the word, "great hero." His blood instantly boiled. He nodded vigorously and said seriously, "I want to be a great hero with unrivaled martial arts skills." At that time, there was a young brother in the village who was always listening to books outside. He heard a lot of books about how great heroes served the motherland. What he heard the most was how powerful and majestic Duke Jiang was on the battlefield. That was the hero in his heart. "Well, what do you want to do most after you become a great hero?" Jiang Yunhe nodded with a smile and continued to ask. Su Chen thought about it carefully and replied, "I want to be a great general and serve my country." It was precisely because of the determination and yearning in the young boy's eyes and tone that Jiang Yunhe decided to take him in as his apprentice and pass on his lifelong learning to him. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. Su Chen had nothing more to learn, and Jiang Yunhe had nothing more to teach him. The only drawback was that he had missed an opportunity to gain experience. I believed that when he returned from the battlefield, he would be even better than his teacher. 10 years later, the determination and yearning in Su Chen's eyes only increased, leaving Su Jing speechless for a moment. Think carefully. The battlefield is full of swords and sabers, and it's unpredictable. It's not like what I'm doing in Xuanhe. Although the conditions are a bit tougher, your life won't necessarily be in danger. You don't know when you can return home. Fame and fortune on the battlefield are not so easy to earn. Su Jing was instantly convinced by Su Chen's words, but he still asked again, "Have you thought it through?" Su Chen nodded again. He was very sure that he had never given himself the chance to regret. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. "Brother, I know that I was wrong to act first and report later. I am sorry to my parents, brothers and Wanwan. Given my mother's temper, she will be sad when she knows that I am not able to show my filial piety to you. For the sake of everyone, I have to give up my small family temporarily. If I can return from the battlefield safely in the future, I will make up for the lack of filial piety. I hope that my elder brother and Wanwan can help me persuade Mom and take good care of her. I made this decision because I understand that if something unexpected happens to me, my parents will not be left alone to take care of them until the end of their lives." "Stop it, third brother. Don't say such unlucky words." Su Wan interrupted what Su Chen was about to say. Su Chen looked at her, only to see Su Wan said again, "Third brother, there will be no accidents. You must retire after achieving your goals and then live a peaceful and smooth life. Anyway, in the original novel, the third brother suffered a lot on the battlefield, but fortunately it all ended well and he came back safely. However, Soo-won also hoped that he could be better. She asked him to retire with honor and come back to see them safely. Since you have made up your mind, I can only support you. You are doing this for the sake of your country. For this reason alone, I will not stop you. Soo Jing was relieved. He was convinced by Soo Chen, so he decided to respect his decision, support his decision, and help him persuade Soo's mother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Wan Wan. Soo Chen was very happy with his family's understanding. The three of them discussed how to tell Soo's mother about this matter, as they only had one day. In the evening, Soo's mother came back happily, Soo-yi also came back, and Soo-yeon was also called back to have dinner together. When Soo's mother saw her son and daughter coming back, she asked the kitchen to prepare a more sumptuous meal, and then took Soo-won aside to ask about family matters, such as whether all the villagers had come to see Soo Jing after he returned, and whether her father had distributed sugar cakes and dried fruits to the villagers as she had asked. Soo-won reported everything to her in detail. All the ancestral tombs in the family have been repaired, people are being hired to harvest the rice, and they will be able to move to Xiangzhou to be with her in a while. Soo's mother was so happy to hear this that she couldn't stop smiling. Dinner that night, seeing that Soo's mother had a good appetite, he did not speak in a hurry. Instead, he waited until she put down her bowl and chopsticks before Soo Chen spoke carefully. Mom, I want to tell you something. What's the matter? Why are you so shy? Soo's mother could tell at a glance that something was wrong with her third son, but she was still smiling. The family has several sons, all of whom have grown up. The eldest, second, and third are all eligible for marriage. Unfortunately, the eldest has to take up an office, and the second is traveling outside. Now only the third is left. She hopes from the bottom of her heart that it will be good news. For example, which girl do you like? However, Soo Chen opened his mouth with a powerful bomb. Mom, I've signed up to join the army. I'll be on the front line the day after tomorrow morning. Pfft. Cough, cough, cough. Soo-yeon, who was drinking soup, was choked when he heard his third brother's words. Soo-won, who was sitting next to him, patted him on the back. Fourth brother, when will you stop making so much noise? Soo-yi was holding a piece of meat, and was also stunned. The meat just fell into the bowl. I didn't expect that my third brother, who usually keeps a low profile and never makes my parents angry, would make such a big fuss. The smile on Soo's mother's face froze. She rubbed her ears and looked at her eldest son. Ah Jing, what did your third brother say? Soo Jing glanced at Soo Chen, who looked a little embarrassed, and then looked at his mother, whose smile was gradually becoming a little strange, and said, My third brother said that he has signed up for the army and will be ready to go to the battlefield the day after tomorrow morning. The eldest brother said calmly. The smile on Soo's mother's face faded. She didn't lose her temper yet. She just took a deep breath and sat upright in her seat. The 5 siblings all looked at her cautiously, especially Soo Chen. Soo-yeon hadn't recovered yet. He wanted to cough twice to feel better, but his mother's reaction was like a sign of a coming storm, so he didn't dare to. Soo-yeon wanted to pour some water quietly. Just as he picked up the cup, Soo's mother suddenly slammed the table with a bang. The cup almost fell over, and Soo-won trembled. Nonsense. Mom. Soo Chen wanted to explain but was interrupted. Don't call me Mom. You've grown so powerful now that you dared to hide such a big thing from us and make the decision on your own. Do you think going to war is fun? Might even lose your life. I suffered so much when I gave birth to you. Of all your siblings, you were the hardest to give birth to. I was in so much pain for 2 whole days that I almost had a dystocia. And now you signed up for the army without even consulting me, and you only told me before you left. I have raised you for nothing. I thought you were the most honest and worry-free one among the 5 brothers, but you have disappointed me so much. I tell you, Soo Chen, I don't agree. Other things are fine, but I can't let you go to the battlefield. As a mother, I only want my child to live a peaceful life. I don't expect him to achieve much. I just want to see him get married, start a family, have both sons and daughters, and live a happy life. Sue's mother's tears fell silently like beads from a broken string, and she was very angry. At Union Hall today, she heard two guests talking about the war and how dangerous the border battlefield was. This time they were going to face strong and sturdy men from outside. They were always known for their strong soldiers and horses. It was said that each of the men from outside was 9 feet tall, with a broad back and strong waist, and was good at wrestling. They had lived on the grassland since they were young and were accustomed to such a desolate and harsh environment. The horses they raised were stronger and more durable than their horses. Sue's mother was just a woman who had not seen much of the world. After hearing the gossip from those gossipers, she imagined all the men from outside to be dangerous. Her third son has never even had a few fights with other children since he was a child. Now you tell her that he is going to the front line to fight with real weapons. How can she not be angry? Do you know how scary those outside men are? One of them is twice as big as you, and they are all as strong as bulls. One punch from them can kill you, but you're just waiting to get beaten. Even though you are considered strong in the eyes of outsiders, you can't compare with those guys. Sue's mother complained while crying. After listening to her, Soo-won could forgive her for wanting to laugh a little, as she really didn't mean it. Soo-jing was also helpless. Mother, where did you hear these untrue words? It's not as serious as you say. It is true that they are strong and powerful, but they are made up of many tribes. Compared with the fierce army of my Jin dynasty, they are far inferior. He explained it to Sue's mother, but she just kept crying. She couldn't bear to let him go. She really couldn't bear to let him go. Soo-won also spoke up for Soo-chin. She told Sue's mother that Soo-chin actually knew martial arts and that Jiang the hunter was his master. But Sue's mother still didn't believe it. Why didn't she notice this before? Even if she learned some kung fu, how powerful could it be? She thought Soo-won made it up for her. Okay, you all know it, but you're hiding it from me, right? Sue's mother stood up, wiping her tears as she spoke, and pretended to leave. Before leaving, Sue's mother left one more sentence. Soo-chin, if you insist on doing what you want, don't recognize me as your mother anymore. After saying that, Sue's mother went back to her room angrily, leaving the 5 siblings in the dining room, staring at each other. Soo-chin was dejected, and Soo-yin gave him a thumbs up. Third brother, you are awesome. You made such a big decision on your own. You didn't think it through. Third brother, have you really decided to go to war? Do you regret it? When Soo-yi saw this situation, he knew that his third brother was not joking. He had already seen that his third brother would not be willing to be an ordinary person. In fact, he knew from a young age that his third brother was secretly learning martial arts from Jiang the hunter. Once, he secretly followed him to see what was happening. Because his third brother went out every day in a mysterious manner, he was unwilling to take him, his fourth brother, and Guyu to play together. So he was curious at the time and discovered the secret. But he knew more than other children since he was a child, so much so that he has been pretending to be stupid until now and has not said anything. I don't regret it. This has always been my dream. You all have things you want to do, and so do I.
Soo-chin answered affirmatively.
Soo-yun wouldn't say anything. Although he was also worried about his third brother's safety, he had already signed up, so what else could he say? You should find a way to get past your mother first. Didn't you listen to what she said? If you dare to go, she will not recognize you. You have a lot of ideas, why don't you think about it for me? Soo-chin glanced at him indifferently. He was also anxious. Wasn't his mother angry? From childhood to adulthood, how many beatings have I received? Among the 5 brothers, I was beaten the most. I am very afraid of our mother. I dare not provoke her at this critical moment. Soo-yun's fear of his mother has existed since childhood. Although his mother is usually gentle and smiling when she stir-fries meat with bamboo, she is very determined. This is blood suppression. Speaking of this, I can still vividly remember the scenes of Soo-yun being stripped of his pants and beaten when he was a child. I am afraid that he doesn't feel the pain and will dare to do it again next time. Only Wanwan can go and talk to Mother about this matter. Mother won't get angry with Wanwan. Why don't you let Wanwan go? Soo-yi was able to say something useful. He finished speaking. The 4 brothers looked at Soo-won at the same time and placed high hopes on her. The brothers are the type who support each other. Everyone has a dream. No matter what the third brother wants to do, the fourth and fifth brothers will support him. Don't worry, I'll go talk to Mom in a minute, but I have an idea that may make Mom agree. Even without her brothers telling her, Suwon would have gone to find her mother, but she also thought of a trick that might be able to convince her mother. What idea? The third, fourth, and fifth brothers asked at the same time. Mother doesn't agree with third brother going to war, mainly because she is worried about his safety. She is afraid that he'll encounter an accident on the battlefield and be unable to protect himself. That's because she doesn't know third brother's strength, so she is so afraid. Didn't Jongyu leave behind several guards? They are all masters of martial arts. Tomorrow I will bring mother out, and third brother will show her your martial arts in front of her, and let her know that you are not just a mediocre kung fu, you are capable of protecting yourself. In this way, mother's concerns about you will dissipate a lot. Suwon's idea is feasible and worth a try. Discussing it, the brothers decided to do as she said. That night, Su-chin went to find Feng. When Feng heard that he was going to the battlefield, he admired him very much and was happy to help him prove himself in front of Madame Su. He would bring a few brothers over the next morning to compete with Su-chin. At night, Suwon brought hot water to Su's mother's room. Su's mother was really heartbroken and was crying quietly there alone. It was only a short while later, but her eyes were already red from crying. Suwon felt so distressed. Seeing her daughter coming, Su's mother cried even more sadly. She confided to her daughter that it was not that she did not allow Su-chin to pursue his dream, but as a mother, she really did not want her son to take risks. She said, "My daughter, you are not a mother yet, so you don't understand the pain in your mother's heart. Parents always hope that their children can live a peaceful life." Suwon was moved by her and started crying. She said, "Mom, I understand. I understand everything. I also feel sorry for my brothers and don't want them to suffer. But the third brother is passionate and talented. His wish since he was a child is to have the opportunity to serve his country one day. It's not that the third brother doesn't care about you. It's because he cares about you and is afraid that you will be angry and disagree. That's why he hesitated and didn't dare to speak. But he also respects and loves you from the bottom of his heart. Otherwise, he wouldn't beg me and my eldest brother to persuade you and enlighten you. But if you force him to stay at home, I believe the third brother will never be happy again. Why don't you agree to him?" The mother and daughter talked late into the night and even slept together. They talked until midnight. Suwon told her the story of her third brother when he was a child and the hunter Jiang. As she talked, she finally stopped crying. But she was worried about how to explain to Su's father when he came to Xiangzhou that he didn't even know about such a big thing and sent the child to the front line. In fact, from this moment on, Su's mother had already compromised. The next morning, Suwon took his mother to the yard, and Feng brought 4 guards to compete with Su-chin. Su's mother still didn't understand what was going on. Both mother and daughter's eyes were swollen and red, and it seemed that they had cried for a long time last night. Suwon brought a chair for her to sit on, and then signaled to the third brother that he could start. "I've heard that you, Su-chin, are the only disciple of Master Jiang Yunhe. Today I came to seek your advice. My apologies." Feng was also a good actor, and he created suspense right away. He and Su-chin dueled, using all their skills. The two of them fought with 2 unsheathed swords. Feng's attack was fierce. Su-chin defended at first, and then started to attack after he figured out his moves. The 2 men fought from the open space to the wall, from the wall to the roof, and finally back to the ground. Su's mother was terrified watching the whole process. Her third son could climb walls and fly over rooftops effortlessly, and was not at a disadvantage when fighting with Feng. He was very strong. It was Feng who had to use all his strength to hold on for so long, and he found it a bit difficult to cope with. "Mom, Feng is Jiangyu's top-notch expert, the head of the guards. Look, he can't beat the third brother. The third brother's martial arts are amazing." Suwon saw that her mother looked nervous and her eyes were following her third brother, so she took her hand and tried to make her relax a little. To be honest, her son has grown up, but she didn't even notice that he had been worshipping a master outside for so many years. When she thinks about it carefully, it is really her dereliction of duty as a mother. In the past few years, she, as a woman, had to work hard outside to support so many children at home, and she was under a lot of pressure and suffered a lot of insults and criticisms. Now that life is getting better, she just wants to make up for the time she spent accompanying her children in the past. In the blink of an eye, they have all grown up. My son is going to get married and my daughter will get married in a few years. It's sad to say that just when life gets better, I realize that I don't have much time to spend with my children. Especially her daughter, who had been absent from her life for the past 10 years. She had only been back for a short time, and after a few years she was promised to someone else. After she got married, there was even less chance for them to meet. The eldest son is about to go to Shanghai to take up his post, and I won't see him for several years. The second son is traveling and his return date is unknown. Now the third son is also going to the battlefield. Fighting in a war is a matter of life and death. If he comes back, it would be fine, but what if he can't come back? Unsurprisingly, Fengming was defeated by Su Chen, and even after that, the 4 guards attacked him together. They were still unable to defeat him. Under the scorching sun, Su Chen fought a fierce battle, panting, his head covered in sweat, with beads of sweat flowing down his jawline into his collar. He looked at his mother with a smile, hoping to get her praise. Unexpectedly, Su's mother had already burst into tears, and Su Wan was supporting her, her face also full of melancholy. Su Chen walked to the bottom of the stairs and knelt down. "Mom, I'm going to the battlefield to defend my country, but I promise you that I will come back alive." After saying this, he kowtowed on the ground one by one. Seeing her son like this, Su's mother knew that she couldn't stop him. Wiping the tears from her face, she waved her hands weakly. "Forget it, go ahead. I should be proud of you for being so righteous. But as a mother, I only hope that my child will be well. Since you have made up your mind, I will not stop you. Go to the front line, take care of yourself, and remember your promise to come back alive." Su Chen's forehead was already a little red and swollen. Seeing that his mother agreed, Su Yun ran down, pulled Su Chen up, and brushed the dirt off his knees. "Come in and have a drink of water. You're so hot." Su's mother sighed heavily, and Su Wan comforted her. "Mom, you have to believe in third brother. He will definitely come back safe and sound." Su's mother nodded and held her daughter's hand. She was thinking that if she had the ability in the future, she might as well find a son-in-law to live with her. In this way, her daughter could always be by her side, and her life would be complete.
"I'm tired."
"I didn't sleep well last night. I'll go back to sleep for a while. You treat Master Fengming and the others well. There's mung bean soup in the kitchen. Bring it to them to cool off." Su's mother still had the etiquette to entertain guests. Although she didn't feel like it right now and was very sad, she still had to tell her daughter to entertain them well. "Got it, mother. Go and have some rest." Su Wan winked at Luing, indicating that she should help Su's mother go back to her room to rest. After Su's mother left, Su Wan asked Xiar and Donger to bring mung bean soup for Fengming and the others. Fengming drank a bowl of mung bean soup and sighed with satisfaction. "It was great. I had a great fight with Brother Su-san today. It's been a long time since I had such a good fight. It's a pity that Brother Su-san, now that you're going to the border, I don't know when I'll have another chance like this. He is now the young master's bodyguard. If he has this opportunity, he will definitely choose to fight on the battlefield. If you still feel it's not enough, I can continue to play with you. We still have 1 day and 1 night." Su Chen also drank a bowl of mung bean soup. There was a red scratch on his forehead at the moment, which looked slightly broken and swollen. When he smiled, he showed a mouthful of big white teeth, looking silly. Su Wan immediately found some ointment to apply on him. Fengming heard his attitude and thought he was going to torture him to death, so he quickly waved his hand to refuse. "I admit that third brother Su is better in martial arts. If I compete with you, I will do as I did just now and stop when I am satisfied. If we fight day and night, I will be bullied to death by you. How desperate must I be to seek a fight?" Ming is also a straightforward person. He speaks very frankly and says whatever he thinks.
How could that be?
You also said that it would be enough. Su Chen scratched his head embarrassedly. But I am curious, who will win in a fight between you and our young master? Ming imagined that the young master's martial arts were taught by the sect master himself. Master Jiang was also the sect master's favorite student, and this third brother Su was Master Jiang's only disciple. In other words, they all came from the same master. But the young master's martial art skills are also among the best in Fengyue Villa. I wonder who will be more powerful in a fight between these two. Speaking of this, Su Wan was also curious. She also wanted to know who was more powerful between Jiang Yu and the third brother. We fought once, and it was a draw. At that time, Ayu's body had just recovered, and his internal energy was unstable, so I had the upper hand. If we really fight again now, I probably won't be able to beat him. Su Chen is also very honest. He doesn't think it's shameful to be unable to beat others, so he doesn't feel burdened when he says it. Why didn't you ask me to take a look at this? Ming slapped his thigh, feeling that he had missed out on 100 million. That was back in Goat Call. I didn't even know you. Su Chen explained that Jiang Yu was still recuperating in their home at that time, but he had not yet fully recovered. Su Wan didn't know about this either. It turned out that they had been secretly meeting and playing together, and even had a competition. Su Wan has never seen Jiang Yu fight seriously. In the original novel, Jiang Yu is ranked number 1 in fighting power, much more outstanding than the male protagonist. As expected, the perfect second male lead is always there, but it doesn't matter for her. He is the only male lead. Ming and the others left not long after they stayed. Su Chen treated the wound on his forehead. Su Jing asked him to wait until his mother woke up, then go see her and keep her company. Su's mother agreed to let Su Chen go to the battlefield, but she was still upset. After getting up in the afternoon, Su Wan insisted on taking her out for a walk, to relax and go shopping. Su Chen stayed with them. When Su's mother saw the red spot on his forehead, her heart ached. The thought that he would suffer more injuries on the battlefield in the future made her feel even more uncomfortable. Come on, why are you so honest? Why do you have to kowtow so hard? Come here, let me see. Su's mother called Su Chen over, looked at the red and swollen area on his forehead, and asked him if he had applied the medicine. That night, Su Chen accompanied his mother shopping for a long time. Su Wan and he took Su's mother to buy clothes, pearl flowers, and rouge. Su's mother smiled very happily. Tonight in Xiangzhou City, no one knew what good thing was happening, but fireworks were set off, which was a rare event outside of the New Year or a festival. After returning from playing tired, Su Wan and Su Chen sent Su's mother back to her room to rest. Tomorrow morning, Su Chen will report to the recruit camp. He hasn't packed anything yet and hasn't prepared anything, so Su Wan will help him pack and also give him some things. She brought 2 packages to Su Chen. What is this? Su Chen asked curiously. Su Wan spread out the bag on the table. There are knee pads here. I heard that the weather in the north is very cold in autumn, and there will be snow in winter. You have to take good care of yourself in the military camp, which is different from home. Bring these things with you. They will definitely be useful. There are also 2 pairs of boots here. Marching and fighting are very difficult. It is 1,000 miles to the border, so you need 2 pairs of comfortable and wear-resistant shoes. This way you will be much more comfortable. Also, I took into consideration that you might not be able to bring too many things, so I prepared a few bottles of golden wound medicine for you, including pills for internal use and external application. These are necessities, and they can be used if you get injured. There are also 200 taels of silver notes, which I sewed into your knee pads. Don't show off your wealth unless it is absolutely necessary. There are many people in the military camp, and people's hearts are hidden. I'm afraid that someone who is greedy for money will stab you in the back. Also, at this moment, Su Wan was like a nagging old nanny, chattering on and on to Su Chen. Su Chen didn't feel annoyed, but listened to her quietly, with a doting smile on his face, nodding in agreement from time to time. I was thinking about that, too. Your military discipline may be quite strict, and you are not allowed to bring too many cumbersome things, but the things I prepared are all portable and practical. Third brother, Did you remember everything I told you? Suwon kept on talking, and when he looked up, he saw Su Chen laughing there, and he didn't know how much he heard. I heard you, my dear sister. Don't worry, I will take good care of myself. Thank you, Wan Wan, for preparing these for me. It can be seen that this had all been prepared long ago. She always knew what I was thinking, and she understood myself very well. How could Su Chen not be moved? Suwon was also reluctant to leave her third brother. It was the first time they met after coming back for so long. She still remembered that night when she greeted her third brother. He blushed and was embarrassed, looking so innocent and cute. Later, the third brother was always very kind to her and protected her silently. No matter what she asked him to do, he would not say a word and was willing to be a tool to run errands. What kind of man is the third brother? In modern terms, he should be considered a father-type man. His love is as heavy as a mountain, like a father's love. It is quiet, silent, and even has no sense of existence. However, if you look closely, you will find that he has done so much and accompanied you so much behind you. Third brother, you must protect yourself. You can't just think about justice. You have to remember that you have a whole family waiting for you to come back.
Suwon said this at the end.
In the original novel, he trapped himself in the enemy camp and suffered so much torture for the sake of justice. She only hoped that he would remember that he still had a family waiting for him to return home. With this motivation, he could be more vigilant and protect himself. Su Chen nodded solemnly and accepted his sister's instructions. Wan Wan, I will. Wait for me to come back. When I become a general, no one will look down on us anymore. He knew that in the eyes of outsiders, they were nothing more than a group of money-loving merchants. He had heard from Yang Qingqing that Lady Ning Yuanbui gave Suwon a cold look, implying that she disdained her because she was a merchant's daughter and was not worthy of Ning Zhiqian. So he swore that he must make a name for himself and give her more confidence and support. He wanted his parents and sister to always be able to hold their heads up high and be respected when they go out. Okay, go to bed early. You have to get up early tomorrow. Suwon said what he wanted to say, and then left. In fact, no one could sleep well tonight, and they all got up the next morning to send Su Chen out. The recruit camp was established 5 miles outside Xiangzhou City. There were conditions for conscription. Only sons in the family, sick people, and those with short stature were not accepted. The reason for not having an only son is that they are afraid that there will be elderly people at home with no one to take care of them. People who are sick or short in stature do not meet the standards for going to the battlefield, and this will also lower the overall strength. In fact, someone like Su Chen, who has martial arts skills, would be quickly noticed once he entered the military camp and the war broke out, and it would be easy for him to get a small official position. As long as he had military merits and killed bravely, it would not be a problem for him to become a centurion or a 1,000-man commander. Su's mother got up early in the morning before dawn and rolled noodles, lit the fire, boiled soup, and poached eggs to make a bowl of noodles for Su Chen to say farewell. The kitchen was filled with mist, and the air was filled with the appetizing aroma of rich broth. Today, it seems that Su's mother is not as pessimistic as yesterday, and she is smiling again. After you leave, you won't be able to eat the food you want at home. You loved noodles when you were a child. Even if it was just a bowl of plain noodles, you would still eat it with gusto. If I gave you an egg, you would be so happy. Eat it quickly. After you finish, I will send you out of the city. Su's mother brought the noodles to Su Chen. Su Chen's bag had been packed, and he was ready to leave at any time. Seeing the full bowl of noodles, Su Chen's nose felt sour. He ate all the noodles without saying a word, and even drank the soup. After that, nothing more was said. The family sent him out of the city gate. On the way, Su Wan and Su's mother were silent. Su Yi and Su Jing didn't talk much either. Only Su Yun and his third brother were arm in arm, talking and laughing to ease the atmosphere. He said, "Third brother, when you have time, please write back to let me know you are safe. Third brother, you must be very impressive on the battlefield. I saw you competing with Feng Ying yesterday. It was the first time I knew you were so powerful. Your trip won't be in vain. After all, you will be a general, so I can be more powerful and majestic. Fortunately, his endless chattering prevented the atmosphere from becoming too sad, the sadness of parting. Because of the reluctance to leave, the long distance from home to the city gate suddenly became shorter. Just send it here, mother. Wanwan, you two should go back quickly. The sun is strong outside. City gate, besides their family, there were many other places experiencing the same separation, but everyone had a different family background and intention. Some are forced by life, while others are driven by love for family and country. Come back safely. Your father, your sister, and I are waiting for you to come back. Sue's mother did not say many sad words of farewell. At least, she wanted her son to leave in peace. She didn't want him to miss home while in the military camp. Several brothers took turns saying goodbye to Su Chen, and Su Chen also gave him a few instructions. There were only a few sets of underwear for changing in Su Chen's bag, and the rest were prepared for him by Su Wan. Everything was in perfect condition. The advantage of having a younger sister. The key is having a sister as caring as Su Wan. Finally, Su Chen smiled at Su's mother and Su Wan and said, "I'm leaving. Wait until I come back." After saying that, he turned and walked towards the direction of the recruit camp. He walked a long way and looked back at his family from time to time. They were still there watching him leave. Gradually, I couldn't see the expressions on their faces clearly. But he looked back from time to time, which was also a kind of nostalgia for home. The Su family stood at the city gate, watching Su Chen's figure gradually disappear. Su's mother finally couldn't hold on anymore and leaned on her daughter sadly, wiping her tears. After she returned, she was sick for a few days. She was not in a good mood, could not eat, and could not sleep well. Suwon stayed at home with her for a few days. My uncle received the news that Su Chen had joined the army. Everyone had already left. It happened so suddenly that he couldn't react. At this time, Su Chen was already on the march. The conditions were difficult, and the weather was hot. Fortunately, his sister prepared shoes for him, which made his feet much more comfortable than others. I have never walked for such a long time in a row. I rest 3 times a day, and spend the rest of the time on the road. Many people have blisters on the soles and toes, but they have to grit their teeth and persevere. They are all untrained recruits, so their endurance is naturally not as good as that of the veterans. Recently, Yang Qingqing has been going on blind dates from time to time, but she hasn't found anyone suitable and satisfactory, and no matchmaker has introduced anyone to her. So, my uncle and aunt said that it didn't matter if the family conditions were poor, as long as the person had good character, they could be brought over to see us. So the matchmaker introduced another man to Yang Qingqing, who was 18 years old, came from an average family, lost his mother at an early age, had a father and a 12-year-old sister. He is a student who has passed the imperial examination and became a scholar. His family is from Xiangzhou, and he is still studying in the academy. Hearing that he had no mother at home, for some reason, Su Wan and Yang Qingqing both felt very guilty. Actually thought that this premise was quite good. Perhaps she was really fed up with Mama's boys. Yang Qingqing didn't want to suffer from it again in her life. In view of this condition, Yang Qingqing listened to Su Wan and tried one last time. If it still didn't work, she would just let things take their course and leave the rest to fate. Bingjitang will open in a few days. Su Wan found some time and quietly went to the store to inspect the results. Now, the suspense has reached its limit. Many celebrities and wealthy women are already looking forward to the opening of Bingjitang and buying Bingji Yugu cream to use. A miracle doctor himself, and it's very exciting to hear. What if it really works well? Xiaonyang is the shopkeeper and the apparent boss, while Su Wan, the boss behind the scenes, must be a little mysterious. Bingjitang is not far from Yintang, but judging from its decoration, it is the most distinctive one on this street. Outside has been repainted red, making it look much brighter and more eye-catching than the nearby houses. The 3 big characters, Bingjitang, are very elegant and beautiful, and are particularly eye-catching. There are 2 floors in total. Products such as Bingji Yugu cream and Luazadai are on the 2nd floor, and ordinary goods are sold on the 1st floor. Firstly, it differentiates the grades of the 2, and secondly, it satisfies the sense of superiority of those ladies and socialites. Their consumption experience is taken care of, so they will become loyal fans and returning customers. Cheonyang has a really good aesthetic sense. Just looking at Bingjatang from the outside gives people a high-end and classy feeling. And many details are controlled very well. For example, the tea used for receptions in the store is all longan, red dates, ginger, and sugar tea, and the main purpose is to protect the health of women. Moreover, according to Suwon's suggestion, she set up a makeup area in the store, which was filled with various rouge and lip balms for female customers to touch up their makeup. If the consumption is high, Cheonyang will arrange for a nanny with superb makeup skills to give them a free hairstyle or makeup. She was invited from Kyoto, and she knows how to do the most fashionable makeup and hairstyles in Kyoto. For women who love beauty, this is simply irresistible. Although Bingjatang looks like a high-end consumption place, it also has products that ordinary people can afford. Suwon told Cheonyang some secret recipes of ancient beauty creams that he had learned, and asked her to make them. If there were no side effects after use, they could be put on the shelves for sale, which would be economical and affordable. The first floor is decorated in an elegant and fresh style, while the second floor looks more magnificent. Also, a large porcelain tank on the first floor for raising fish. If any female relatives are bored, they can feed the fish to pass the time. There is also a rest area with 2 tea tables equipped with all the tea-making utensils, so you can make your own tea. The second floor is similar, except for some furniture and ornaments, which are made of more refined wood. The staircase cleverly utilizes the feature of lotus blooming at every step. Lotus flowers are carved on the stairs and filled with colors to make them lifelike. This is called lotus blooming at every step and has a beautiful meaning. After taking a look around, Suwon was so satisfied that he couldn't be more satisfied. He kept exclaiming in admiration like a country bumpkin. Cheonyang, you are really creative. If I were just an ordinary person passing by, I would not be able to resist coming in. Even if I don't buy anything, I would still have the nerve to take a look. This is true. When you go shopping nowadays, you walk into a store and you may feel that the style of the store does not quite suit you, but if its decoration and design are very good, you can't help but walk around and take a look. There is no rule that you have to buy something once you enter. Thank you for your kind words, young lady. As long as you are satisfied, it will be worth it for me to receive so much monthly salary. Cheonyang smiled freely, with a few white teeth slightly exposed on her bright red lips, looking so bright and flamboyant. Suwon was stunned and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. This is the charm of a mature woman, right? Moreover, this woman is very charming.
Who can stand this?
Seeing Suwon's reaction, Cheonyang was also very satisfied. If a man says you are pretty, then you may not be particularly pretty, but if a girl is stunned by your beauty, then that shows the beauty of this woman. At this moment, a man suddenly came into the store with a silly smile on his face and a basket in his hand. As soon as he entered the door, he shouted, "Sister Cheonyang, look what I brought you, your favorite crystal jade butterfly cake." It turned out to be Fengying, who was grinning happily. When he looked up, he found Suwon was there too. "Hey, you're here too, girl." He had never met Suwon when he came here before, so he was quite surprised to see him today. I only knew that Cheonyang was working for the young master, but I didn't expect that Miss Su was also a master behind the scenes. Suwon saw Fengying and then looked at Cheonyang and knew that these two people were both Jiangyu's subordinates and must know each other. "What delicious food did you bring?" It made me curious. Suwon stared at his basket and smiled. Upon hearing this, Fengying quickly opened the box, revealing a plate of crystal clear, soft and chewy pastries. "I didn't know you were here, so I only brought one plate. Try it, girl." Fengying brought out the pastries and handed them to Suwon. There was a wooden stick on the plate, which was used to eat the pastry. Suwon picked up a piece and ate it. The texture was a bit like pudding and a bit like jelly. Not bad. Suwon gave a pertinent answer. The pastry was okay, sweet but not greasy. "Then eat more, girl. I'll go buy another portion." Although Fengying bought it specially for Cheonyang, the girl that the young master likes is here, so he has to respect her well. "No, I'll just eat a piece to taste it." I have other things to do, so I'm leaving now. Suwon has read so many novels and watched so many TV dramas. How could he not see that he likes Cheonyang? It's even more interesting because these two are in a sister-brother relationship. She wouldn't be so inconsiderate as to disturb their love. I'll give it to the girl, Fengming said as he put the box down. Goodbye, I'm just across the street. Besides, I still have Luyin Luiying. I won't bother you anymore. I'm leaving. Suwon waved her hand to refuse and looked at them with a meaningful smile. When Cheonyang saw her smile, she actually felt a little embarrassed. Suwon took Luyin and Luiying out of Bingji Hall and went straight to his own Yuyan Hall. The business in the store was good. After adding a yard to the workshop, the order completion volume has caught up. After his uncle finished opening up the yard, he is now busy looking for shops in various counties. I no longer look for agents. I open my own shops and hire people to be shopkeepers. The money I earn from the agents is enough to rent a shop in the county for a year. Now that his reputation has spread and he has replaced all his people with his own, Suwon will find a time to go to other state capitals and open a shop to do business. Yang Qingqing has now gradually gotten the hang of it and is becoming proficient. She has almost learned how to keep accounts and do the math. When Suwon came, she was looking at something seriously, so much so that she didn't react even when Suwon was standing in front of her. Cough cough. Suwon coughed deliberately. Only then did Yang Qingqing come back to her senses, and Suwon also realized that she was distracted by something else. Wanwan is here, come in and sit down. Yang Qingqing invited her to sit behind the counter. Chaoyan was helping a guest look at soap, and the tea was brought by Biaozi. Yesterday, Yang Qingqing went on a blind date. Suwon guessed that she made a good impression on him this time, as she didn't come to complain to him. How is the person you met yesterday? Suwon was also very gossipy. When Yang Qingqing heard this, her face turned red, and she felt a little embarrassed. Suwon became even more certain that they were in love this time. Not bad. His name is Yiruns. He is a scholar and a handsome man. He is also very humble and polite. He actually waited there 3 cups of tea in advance. He was also very careful throughout the whole process and spoke very tactfully. He didn't make people feel abrupt. The matchmaker said that he studied very hard, but his family conditions were a little poor. Well, he is humble and polite, knows how to speak in moderation, looks good, is positive and attentive towards others and things, and is also a scholar. It's okay to hear you say that. Suwon nodded in approval. Yang Qingqing nodded and continued. I have already accepted the sachet he gave me, and we have agreed to go to Qingyuan to listen to an opera in 3 days. Yang Qingqing accepted the sachet from someone else, which meant that she was interested in getting to know the other person better. However, Suwon still had to remind her, you have to be careful. Although the first impression was good, some details can better represent the quality of a person. Didn't you say that his family is average? If a man is really good, no matter how tight his pockets are, as long as he goes out with a girl, he will take the initiative to pay for the money instead of waiting for you to spend money. A man willing to spend money on you is not necessarily really good, but a man who is unwilling to spend money on you is definitely not good. Being poor is not a reason for him to be stingy. This is very important. As a modern person who traveled through time, Suwon is sometimes quite realistic. After all, if there is no love, it is fine to have money to spend. I know. My mother told me the same thing. Don't worry. I know my limits. Yang Qingqing herself is also very sober, and I believe she is not a person who would be obsessed with love. You can love someone very much, but you cannot become irrational for the sake of loving him and abandon your bottom line, relatives, and principles. Inside Hibiscus Cottage, the crabapple blossoms in the yard have bloomed, densely packed together in light pink, purple, and white, 3 colors mixed together. The whole yard is filled with the fragrance of hibiscus. If people stay in the yard for a long time, they will be imbued with the scent of hibiscus. From time to time, the petals blown down by the wind are flying all over the sky. So beautiful. September is the season when hibiscus blooms most beautifully. The workshop also launches goat milk soap and hair soap with hibiscus scent, which are very popular and well-liked. One is hibiscus and the other is osmanthus. These two scents are the best-selling ones, and they are equally good. 2 months after Yuyan Hall opened, the total profit in the entire Xiangzhou, after deducting all costs and expenses, had reached 15,000 taels. Shops in various county towns were also open one after another, and the business was on the right track. On September 23rd, the opening day of Bingjitang, although Su Wan cannot attend, she will visit as a customer. She went out in the morning. Sui came to her with a few paintings. His seals had been made, and his painting studio was already on track. He usually painted portraits for people in the store. There were also many of his own paintings hanging in the shop, including ink paintings, landscapes, flowers, and ladies. Although no one would buy them usually, it was not a problem for him to earn 100 or 200 taels a month just by painting portraits. Moreover, those beautiful and pleasing paintings only need to be quietly hung in the store, which is a kind of art and a kind of artistic conception. Sooner or later, they will meet someone who appreciates them. His reputation for his superb portrait skills had spread throughout Xiangzhou, and even people from the government office would come to him to draw pictures when they were catching criminals. Through their descriptions, Su Yi can always present them with the results that they are most satisfied with. He has been painting portraits for so long that he is very familiar with the facial bones of people. He is also familiar with all kinds of face shapes, eyebrow shapes, eye shapes, and expressions. The prefect even wanted to recruit him as a portrait artist for the Yamen, but Su Yi refused. He just wanted to paint quietly and didn't want to get involved in these things. The prefect knew that he was the younger brother of the top scholar, and he could not force him to do it if he didn't want to, so he had to give up. Early this morning, Su Yi gave Su Wan a few paintings with his own seal on them, which he had promised to give her some time ago, for her collection. At that time, Su Wan was just about to go out to Bingji Hall to join in the fun, and she met Su Yi, who came to find her. He called her from behind, his tone full of joy. Wan, wait for me. Su Wan turned around and saw a young man coming out from under the eaves and stepping under the hibiscus tree. He was wearing a green round-necked robe and had a cool and unworldly temperament. Are people like them who are devoted to art all so indifferent and detached? Ever since the fifth brother was able to earn money, he started to dress himself up. He preferred green robes or sky blue, but one had to admit that he handled these two colors very well. Su Wan also liked the green color. As she looked at it, she felt that her fifth brother seemed to have grown taller. Now, standing in front of her, he was more than a head taller than her. What's wrong, fifth brother? Su Wan asked him with a smile, revealing 2 shallow dimples. Didn't you ask me to draw a few pictures for you last time? I've finished them now. Take a look and see if you like them. Su Wan took his paintings, knelt down beside the small coffee table under the hibiscus tree, and opened them one by one to appreciate them. The first one was a beautiful picture of a lady that Su Yi had drawn for her. In the picture was her, wearing a green robe and standing under a hibiscus tree with branches full of hibiscus flowers. There were falling petals floating around her. The artistic conception was captured just right by him, and the painting was signed with his seal that read Wu Yang. The second painting is a picture of hibiscus, with clusters of flowers. The beauty of hibiscus is painted just right, and the feeling is like the dewdrops still hanging on the petals in the morning. Even the colors are controlled very well. If you pick a hibiscus flower and put it on the painting for comparison, if you don't look carefully, you won't know which is real and which is painted. The third painting is a picture of koi, which was drawn by Su Yi after observing the koi in his home pond. He observed the koi for several days for this painting. He painted the expression of the koi playing among the lotus leaves very vividly. Even the patterns on the body are almost the same. It is simply amazing. Su Wan couldn't dare to imagine how cool and enviable it would be when she took out these works when her fifth brother became famous in the future. She is holding something worth tens of thousands of taels of silver in her hands. Are you envious? Great. I'm going to hang them all in my room, wherever I move to in the future. Su Wan decided to keep these paintings well, but not as a treasure to be hidden in the bottom of a box. Rather, no matter where she moved to in the future, these paintings would be indispensable to decorate her room. As long as you like it. Su Yi would only show that kind of gentle smile from the heart in front of his sister. In front of outsiders, his smile always seems perfunctory, and he is undoubtedly the prince of false smile. Moreover, the innate sense of aloofness of fifth brother is very consistent with his artistic aura. If there is a joke and he happens to be present, his laughter will not make people feel sarcastic, but rather it will feel like he has seen the 4 words, "None of my business," and I will just smile to be polite. You can always see him smiling, but you don't know what he is smiling at, and sometimes it's quite creepy. Suwon carefully rolled up and tied up the paintings and asked Luyun and Luing to help her hang them up after she came back. "Where were you going just now?" Su-yi remembered that Wonwon was just about to go out. A shop has opened on the street called Bingjitang. They sell a Bingjiuga cream. I heard that the formula was created by the genius Dr. Sun Beidou and his granddaughter, and the effect is very good. There is a discount today for the opening, and I want to join in the fun. Suwon answered naturally, as if Bingjitang was not hers. But as smart as Su-yi is, he had already guessed something, but he just didn't expose it. On the night of her birthday, Jongyu gave her the gift without telling anyone, so no one knew that she had a recipe for the jade face cream. But Su-yi, who was very careful, had already noticed it that night. Moreover, he saw with his own eyes Suwon bringing Luyun and Luing out of Bingjitang a few days ago. At that time, Bingjitang had not yet opened, and she usually acted as if she had no connection with Bingjitang. It was hard not to be suspicious. But Suwon had her own reasons for concealing the truth. She must have chosen not to say anything because she was thinking about her family. "Then I'll go with you," Su-yi took the initiative to say.
Suwon nodded.
If fifth brother wanted to accompany her, she would not refuse because she knew fifth brother's personality. He would just accompany you quietly and give you advice from time to time. Ever since he opened his painting studio, he would always buy rouge and lip balm for Suwon from time to time. Sometimes when he passed by a jewelry store, he would buy any beautiful pearl flowers that he saw that were suitable for Suwon. The dressing table in his room was full of them. But fifth brother, aren't you going to the painting studio today? Suwon suddenly remembered this. Fifth brother is not going to work today? It's more important to accompany you shopping. It doesn't matter if I don't go to the studio for a day. Su-yi answered as a matter of course. Looking after the store is not as important as accompanying my sister. The most important thing is that my sister is happy. Where are you going? Can I join in the fun? I don't know when the eldest brother arrived. He will leave for his new post in 2 days. These days, Su's mother has been packing his luggage. After all, he is going to take up the post and will have to live in a place with difficult conditions for a few years. He has to take care of his food, clothing, housing, and transportation. It's unlike Su-chun, who is going to join the army. He has to wear armor in the barracks and is not allowed to bring too many cumbersome things. Moreover, Suwon has already packed everything for him. There is really no discrimination. Suwon also went to the pawn shop and bought 2 young, literate boys, both of whom were only 15 or 16 years old, smart and sensible, to serve as his eldest brother's book boys and take care of his daily life, as he was afraid that he was too busy at work and would neglect to take care of himself. Her elder brother brought back for her are a huge fortune when converted into money. What's wrong with her spending some money to buy 2 people for him? My fifth brother and I are going shopping. Does eldest brother want to come with us?
Suwon answered obediently.
Go, if Wonwon doesn't mind that big brother is a follower. Su Jing was wearing a moon-white brocade dress. Most of his clothes were made of moon-white and light apricot, which were relatively elegant colors. He is indeed a gentleman. Gentle as jade. My eldest brother and fifth brother, one is handsome and gentle as jade, the other is fresh and refined, with a cool temperament. It's so glorious to have you accompany me out on the street. I'm afraid those girls who go shopping alone will envy me to death. I won't despise you. Suwon is a sweet talker. She can smooth things over with just a few words and make the eldest and fifth brothers all smile. Su Jing scratched her nose lovingly. You are so sweet. Suwon smiled and hid away. Luing watched with envy from the side. Suwon handed her the fifth brother's painting and asked her to keep it. At this time, Luyun came over and said with a difficult expression, Miss, Master, the Earl's daughter and young master from the Earl's mansion of Ningyuan have sent you another invitation to go on an outing. This is the 4th time this month. Are you still going to refuse? Upon hearing the news brought by Lu Yun, Su Jing and Su Wan changed their expressions in perfect harmony. In an instant, the smile on his face turned into silence. There must be something wrong with the Ning Yuan Earl's mansion. He always invites them to play here and there. I found many excuses to turn down the invitation the previous few times, always saying I was busy with social engagements, busy with ancestor worship, busy with business. This time I really don't know how to refuse. After all, it is an invitation from the Earl's mansion. It would be a bit disrespectful to refuse it again and again. They say 3 times the limit is enough. If I refuse this time, it would be a bit unreasonable. So the brother and sister looked at each other and asked tentatively at the same time, "Wanna go?" Even their expressions and tones are exactly the same. They are undoubtedly siblings. "I think we should go." They spoke at the same time again, and they couldn't help but laugh at their tacit understanding. I have already rejected the invitation from the Earl's mansion several times. It would be a bit tactless to reject it again. "Brother, let's go once. Anyway, you will take office in a few days, and you don't have to see them again in the future." "Well, you're right. We still have to give face to the Earl's mansion, otherwise they will accuse us of being arrogant." Su Jing thought about it, and it made sense. Although he was the top scholar, he did not hold a high official position after all, so he would not offend the Earl's mansion. His entire family is in Xiangzhou now, so as to avoid offending anyone and being harassed. The Earl's mansion also had limited patience. After being rejected several times, the arrogant Earl and his wife had become very impatient and privately denounced Su Jing and his sister for being ungrateful. "Go back to the post and see what time it is. If it's an outing, they probably invited more than just us. There should be other ladies and young men from prominent families as well. It won't be awkward if we go." Lu Yun received the order, nodded, and went to reply. The outing day is tomorrow, and considering that Su Jing will leave for his new post in a few days, the preparations are hurried. The 3 siblings left the house and headed straight for Bingji Hall, just in time for the ribbon-cutting ceremony of Bingji Hall. Xiaonyang is dressed in red today, looking very festive. The cinnabar at the corners of her eyes makes her eyes look even more charming. She accurately located the group where Su Wan was and nodded and smiled at her as a greeting. Su Wan clapped and responded to her. Bingjitang opens today, and the Bingji Yugu cream is limited to 100 jars. After 3 days, it will be limited to only 100 jars per month. It is uncertain when it will be available and when it will not. Good things cannot be bought whenever you want. Only hunger marketing can ensure long-term popularity. Bingjitang has many items that are hard to find on the market. Xiaonyang brought another group of people over. Their monthly salary was not as good as theirs, only 8 taels of silver per person per month. They were all good workers who worked efficiently. In addition to beauty creams and hand creams, Xiaonyang can also make eyebrow powders, cinnabar, nail polish, and lip balm in different colors. The 200 taels that Su Wan spends every month is totally worth it. Ribbon-cutting ceremony. Customers waiting to enter the Bingjitang store filed in. The wealthy went straight to the 2nd floor, and ordinary people started shopping on the 1st floor. In short, business was good, and we had transactions in no time. Su Wan walked in slowly, with Su Jing and Su Yi, listening to the women's chattering discussions there. "Wan, whatever you like, brother will buy it for you." Su Jing expressed his opinion beside her. "And I have money, and I can buy it for you too." Su Yi has several hundred taels of silver in savings now, so he is quite generous to his sister. "Then I won't be polite." Su Wan didn't hesitate. She just had to know how to handle the situation properly. Already a lot of lip balm and jewelry at home, so she bought a few boxes of ordinary facial cream, 10 taels of silver per can. Xiaonyang asked someone to bring her some red date tea that was specially chilled with ice cubes, which was very thoughtful. She is the big boss behind the scenes, and everything has to be done by her first. This is a necessary condition for a qualified employee. "Have you chosen it already?" Su Jing was a little confused seeing how fast she was. Isn't it said that girls are very picky when choosing things, especially those for themselves? They are the most serious? Why is their Wan so casual? In fact, she can always use the popular items in the store as long as she wants, so she is rather perfunctory and came here just to investigate. Okay, I've chosen it.
Shuwan nodded seriously.
Then I'll go pay the bill. Su Jing took the things in his hand and was about to go to the counter, but was stopped by Su Yi. Brother, let me do it. Keep the money you have with you for your trip to Xuanhe. Be frugal. I have a painting studio that can earn money. Let me do it. No, I'm the eldest brother. It's rare for me to go out with Wanwan to buy something. How can I let you pay the bill? That's outrageous. The two brothers started arguing, and each of them wanted to pay. Let me do it. Let me do it. I'm your eldest brother, so it's only right that I pay the bill. Su Wan looked at this, then looked at that, and finally she spoke up to stop him. Okay, big brother, fifth brother, stop arguing. How about you each take half? At times like this, we can only treat everyone equally so that no one has any objections. Su Jing and Su Yi looked at each other and thought it was feasible, so they each took 2 boxes of products and went to pay. Su Wan looked at them and smiled helplessly, but at the same time he felt warm and satisfied in his heart. It turns out that this is what it feels like to be spoiled by your family. While Su Jing and the others were away, Qianyang found a chance to move to Su Wan's side, patted her on the shoulder, and handed her a rectangular mahogany box. Su Wan turned around and saw Qianyang. He looked around and asked her what was wrong. This is what the young master specifically ordered. I picked out the best quality pearls from the latest batch of pearls and made you a necklace. Jiangyu had a pearl necklace specially made for him. Su Wan couldn't help but feel her heart beating faster when she thought of the name. She took the wooden box with a blushing face and stuffed it into her wide sleeves. There was a secret pocket sewn inside for storing things. Su Wan was glad that the clothes she was wearing today had big hidden pockets, otherwise it wouldn't have fit her. Thank him for me. Su Wan looked at the backs of Su Jing and Su Yi as they queued up to pay the bill and whispered to Qianyang like a thief. Seeing her like this, Qianyang couldn't help but think she was cute, so she covered her mouth and laughed. As expected, girls at this age are the brightest and cutest. Not to mention the young master. She likes him so much. You should wait until he comes back and tell him in person. I'm going to get busy now. Qianyang joked in a teasing tone, patted her shoulder lightly, and turned to greet the guests. Su Wan's face flushed, her cheeks slightly red, and the sweetness in her heart rose sharply. What are you laughing at? Why are you blushing so much? When Su Jing came back, he found his sister standing there alone, laughing foolishly. No, I just feel happy. Happy that my brothers spoil me so much. Su Wan smiled even more, her dimples sunk deeper, and even her eyes curved with laughter. Su Wan believed this from the bottom of his heart at this moment, and it was not because he was thinking about Jiangyu that he was deliberately turning a blind eye. When Su Jing and Su Yi heard this, they felt inexplicably sad, and the smiles on their faces were tinged with heartache. Is that all? Are you satisfied with just this? Su Jing couldn't help but rub her head. Silly girl, do you want to buy anything else? Big brother will go with you. Let's go to Yueman West Tower for lunch. My 4th brother told me that their kitchen has just produced a delicious dessert that I want to try. Su Wan asked, pulling the sleeves of his eldest and 5th brothers. Okay, you can eat whatever you want, let's go. Su Jing took her out of Bingjitang. Su Yi took an umbrella with him when he went out, and he silently held the umbrella for Su Wan to block the sun. The 3 siblings walked to the Yueman West Tower, and Lu Yun and Lu Ying followed behind. They happened to meet Su Yun in the front hall, who was talking to shopkeeper Luo. Shopkeeper Luo saw Su Wan and the others coming out of the corner of his eye, so he signaled Su Yun to turn back. Su Yun turned around and saw his elder brother and Su Wan coming, and he was very excited. Why are you here? We came here to eat and see you.
Su Wan replied.
Yes, please have lunch with us, 4th brother. Our eldest brother will also be leaving in a few days.
Su Yi similed gente.
Of course, Su Yun was fine with it. He said hello to shopkeeper Luo, and then went to the private room with Su Wan and the others to have dinner. Su Wan asked Lu Yun and Lu Ying to sit down and eat together. The 2 sisters were a little reserved and embarrassed to sit at the same table with their master, but in Su Wan's place, there was no such serious hierarchy. Everyone had a very enjoyable lunch, and then played on the street for a while in the afternoon before going home. Soo-yeon plans to work in UMN Shilo until the end of the year. He feels that what he has learned is not comprehensive enough and wants to continue learning more in UMN Shilo, so he finds manager Luo to discuss this matter. Because it was agreed upon at the beginning that it would take half a year. Soo-won returned home and opened the box that Cheon-young had given her. Inside lay a crystal white pearl necklace. Each pearl was of top quality, round and plump, and of uniform size. She put it on immediately and admired her beauty in front of the bronze mirror for a long time. The next day, Soo-won and Soo-jing were going to meet Ning Ziqian and Ning Xiaomei. The weather in this month was still a bit hot and not very suitable for outdoor activities. However, the brother and sister still dressed appropriately and went to a hibiscus garden in Xiangzhou City. Farong Garden has a filter here in Suwon. Even if she doesn't give Ning Ziqian face, she will come to Farong Garden. A person who loves hibiscus very much, just the one hibiscus tree at home makes her extremely happy. Imagine if there was a large area of it. There is no way she can refuse it. As Soo-won expected, in addition to Soo-won, Ning Xiaomei and her siblings also invited the daughter of the governor of Xiangzhou, the daughter of the chief historian, and the son of the prefect. They were all children of officials, and no other women from business families were invited. They set up a buffet in Hibiscus Garden. There were hundreds of hibiscus trees in Hibiscus Garden, densely packed together. To get to Hibiscus Garden, one had to cross a river. There was an arch bridge on the river. From this angle, one could just see the magnificent scenery of Hibiscus Garden below. Soo-won was amazed at that moment. Before coming here, she had never known that there was such a magical place. I've been in Xiangzhou for so long, and this is the first time I've heard of it. In the middle of the Hibiscus Garden, surrounded by hibiscus trees, and it is named Hibiscus Pavilion. Just for this magnificent scene today, Soo-won felt that his trip was not in vain. Soo-jing could also see that Soo-won really liked hibiscus flowers. He thought that in the future, when he was in the #1 scholar's mansion in Kyoto, he would renovate the back garden and plant the hibiscus flowers she loved. The servant that Ning Ziqian sent to pick them up led them to the depths of Farong Garden. The fragrance of hibiscus flowers filled Soo-won's nostrils. He closed his eyes in enjoyment and caught a few fallen hibiscus petals. In the pavilion, it is a large table carved from a log. Everyone sits around it. There is a ditch in the middle of the table with a rockery built on it, which is particularly artistic. Running water is led along the ditch to create the appearance of a river. The water flow will push the plates to keep turning inside. This is the elegance of the ancients, called the flowing water banquet. Seeing Soo-won and Soo-jing coming, everyone stood up to greet them. One is a young, elegant and handsome top scholar, and the other is the top scholar's younger sister, both of whom are very popular. Soo-jing's appearance and temperament are enough to make young girls fall in love with him, and Soo-won's beauty and agility also make it easy for men to admire her. Look, Ning Ziqian and Ning Xiaomei, brother and sister, both showed obsessed expressions when they saw the two siblings. The brother and sister deliberately arranged for Soo-won and his sister to sit between them, so that they could be close to them. Mr. Soo, Miss Soo, you are finally here. We have been waiting for you. Please take a seat. Sorry, I'm late and kept you waiting. Soo-jing bowed to express his apology, and Soo-won also bowed. Sister Won-won, please sit here. You don't mind me calling you that, do you? Ning Xiaomei took the initiative and wanted to arrange Soo-won next to her brother. Don't mind, Sister Ning. Soo-won gave a professional fake smile, still adhering to the idea of speaking differently to different people and doing enough superficial work. However, Soo-won did not sit next to Ning Ziqian as she wished, but pretended to be intimate and took Ning Xiaomei's hand and gently requested, I haven't seen Sister Ning for a long time. I miss her so much. I want to sit next to her today. Is that okay? Her sincere words? If she still insisted on arranging her next to her brother, it would be too deliberate. She could only agree with a stiff smile and held her hand, saying, Of course you can. I'm so happy that you want to be close to me. Soo-jing beside him couldn't help but smile and admired his sister's cleverness in his heart. Finally, Soo-won sat next to Ning Xiaomei and Soo-jing sat next to Ning Ziqian. As soon as he sat down, the governor started to make trouble. Su Zhuangyu, you came late today and made us wait for a long time. You have to drink 3 cups as punishment. The 6th miss is a girl, so she will be treated preferentially. Just drink 1 cup as punishment. For the sake of the governor, Su Jing accepted the punishment. Yes, I should be punished, but my sister can't drink much, so I drank her glass for her. Su Jing didn't know whether Su Wan could drink well, but he didn't want her to drink. It's okay, Mr. Su. The wine we serve today is made from hibiscus flowers. It tastes sweet but not intoxicating. We specially served hibiscus wine because we have female relatives with us today. Ning Xiaomei explained at this time. Wine brewed from hibiscus flowers? Then I must try it. Su Wan became interested when he heard that it was brewed from hibiscus flowers. She poured herself a glass and raised it to clink with her eldest brother. Seeing that she was in high spirits, Su Jing didn't want to spoil her fun. After all, he could drink a lot, so he was still there for her even if she got drunk. Brother and sister clinked glasses, and Su Wan tilted his head back slightly and drank it all in one gulp. This hibiscus wine was just as Ning Xiaomei said, sweet at first, but not too sweet. After drinking it, he could feel the fragrance of hibiscus lingering between his lips and teeth. After Su Wan finished drinking it, he actually fell in love with this wine instantly. He must find out the source and keep some at home. After Su Jing drank the remaining 2 cups, everyone started to urge him to write a poem. Flowing water banquet, hibiscus garden, it would be a shame if I didn't compose a poem to describe this artistic conception. Moreover, everyone wants to appreciate the talent of the top scholar. Su Jing was encouraged by everyone. As a scholar, he really felt like writing poetry under the atmosphere. Su Wan clasped her hands together and looked at him expectantly, like a little fangirl. Just for his sister's sake, he is willing to make such a fool of himself today. Then I will show you my ugly face. If the poem doesn't express my feelings, please don't laugh at me. Su Jing said this beforehand. No, we believe that the top scholar can stand out among thousands of students and win the first place. How can a golden fish be kept in a pond? Don't laugh at us for being ignorant and incomprehensible to the deep meaning of your poem. Everyone was still deliberately praising Su Jing. After all, he had the potential to become a rising star in the court. If he became a favorite of the emperor in the future, he would be extremely rich and powerful. He must not be offended. Even if Su Jing did not do well today, they still had to applaud him. Su Jing knew that these were all false and a little too fake, but he saw through them but didn't say anything. So, he closed his eyes and meditated carefully, and everyone waited patiently for him to speak. Hibiscus is in full bloom on the branches, its subtle fragrance wafting across your face and attracting your attention. The colorful flowers are reflected on the water in autumn. You can listen to the wind singing for half a day. However, the author is uneducated and has racked his brains to come up with something that rhymes. Just make do with it. It is not worthy of being published in a refined setting. Su Jing's poem hits the point. The hibiscus is in full bloom on the branches, and the subtle fragrance is eye-catching. The colors of the hibiscus are brilliant. The hibiscus garden is by the river, and it is autumn now. They gather here today and chat for half a day. That's about the idea. Ning Zhiqian was the first to applaud and praise. After all, it didn't take Su Jing much time to write this poem, and it was really written impromptu. Everyone applauded and praised Su Jing for his brilliant writing skills. Of course, Su Jing couldn't let them go, so he asked them to write poems as well. But unfortunately, they were all half-baked, and apart from him, there was no one truly talented at the scene. Even Ning Ziqian was just a student and had not yet passed the examination to become a scholar. This was very awkward. Su Wan was drinking hibiscus wine, wanting to laugh but not daring to, as she looked at their embarrassed expressions. Moreover, Su Jing has already set the standard. Unless the poem you compose on the spot is better than his, you can still show it off. But the problem is, if you are not as good as him, why should you embarrass this person? He really shot himself in the foot. Fortunately, Ning Xiaomei was smart. She immediately spoke up and changed the subject. In this situation, I would like to play a piece of music. I am not very talented, but I have learned the guzheng to some extent. If you don't mind, why don't I play a piece for everyone to listen to? Sister Ning plays the piano, so I'll play the flute. The governor's daughter also joined in the fun. Then I'll play the pipa. The daughter of the chief secretary was not willing to be left behind. There were 4 female members at the scene. 3 of them came out to perform, and only Su-won was still immersed in the hibiscus wine, drinking one glass after another. At this time, someone suddenly mentioned her. "Sixth Miss, do you have any musical instrument you are good at? Why don't we play a song together?" Su-won said, "I don't know anything. I'm sorry, except that I know a few words and have read a few books. I'm not proficient in any of the arts. Please forgive me for making fun of me." She didn't feel embarrassed. She wouldn't play with them often anyway. Making it clear in advance that she didn't know anything would make things more peaceful. No one would bother her in such occasions in the future. Several young ladies were a little embarrassed. They didn't expect Su-won didn't know anything. But she had a brother who was the top scholar in the imperial examination. Was the gap between siblings so big? Seeing this, Su-jing quickly spoke up for his sister. "My daughter Wonwon is a carefree girl by nature and doesn't like being bound by rules. Our family doesn't have high expectations for her. We just hope that she can live a happy and carefree life for the rest of her life." As soon as these words came out, the girls present felt jealous. They all had brothers, so why was there such a big difference between them? Other people's brothers and sisters don't have to learn anything, just be happy. But their brothers are afraid that you don't know enough and will embarrass yourself in other people's houses. In the hibiscus garden, the sound of leisurely music could be heard. The men were drinking and chatting happily, and the women were discussing musical instruments with each other. Only Su-won was out of place, drinking with his head propped up. Her mind was not on listening to the music at the moment, but on thinking how nice it would be to see such scenery with Jiangyu. He also likes Farong, so he should like this place, right? To be honest, even though the alcohol content of hibiscus wine is not high and it is not easy to get drunk, it will still make you feel dizzy if you drink too much. Su-won realized that something was wrong with her. Her cheeks turned red and hot, and looking at those hibiscus flowers seemed a little unreal. Looking at the sparkling lake from afar, Su-won suddenly wanted to find a quiet and deserted place to sit alone. So she whispered to Su-jing, "Brother, I'm going to find a place to sit for a while, get some fresh air, and sober up. I seem to be a little drunk." Su-jing heard this and looked around. Lu-yun and Lu-ying were waiting outside the pavilion. Seeing her red cheeks, Su-jing knew that she was a little drunk. "Take Lu-yun and Lu-ying with you, don't go too far, and be careful." Su-won nodded, then stood up and left, holding a pot of hibiscus wine in her hand. She took Lu-yun and Lu-ying into the depths of hibiscus garden, came to the lake and found a big rock to sit on. There was still music, but the breeze from the lake made her feel very comfortable, and the hibiscus flowers helped block the sun, so she didn't feel hot. Before I knew it, it was already afternoon. Ning Ziqian noticed that Su-won had left the table and Su-jing was being harassed by 2 young masters for a drinking contest, so he found an opportunity to leave. I found Su-won. She was sitting by the lake drinking alone, feeling a little lonely. Lu-yun noticed him coming and became a little wary. "Sixth Miss, why are you drinking alone here? Are you not used to it?" Su-won didn't find it strange that he came. She thought, "I know you're still asking." "No, I just want to enjoy the scenery by the lake." As Ning Ziqian approached, Lu-yun looked at him more vigilantly. He had something to say to Su-won, but since the 2 maids were here, he couldn't open his mouth. "Gentlemen, could you please let me have a word with Miss Six alone?" He directly asked Lu-yun and Lu-ying to leave, but since Su-won didn't say anything, they didn't dare to go far. Su-won knew what he was going to say, and she also wanted to make things clear with him, so she nodded to the Lu-yun sisters. "Go ahead, and just watch from a distance." To be honest, she was a little tipsy now, and after a while of breeze, she felt even more tipsy. Lu-yun had no choice but to do as he was told and left with Lu-ying, standing in the distance and watching. Ning Ziqian was quite surprised by Su-won's reaction. At least she was willing to give him a chance. "Young master, what do you want to say?" Su-won was too lazy to talk about all that nonsense, so he just went straight to the point. Didn't expect Su-won to be so anxious. He felt a little embarrassed and even a little shy. Sixth miss. Actually, Ning Ziqian was hesitating and didn't know what was wrong. Suwon looked at him, waiting for him to continue, and then rejected him. In fact, the first time I saw you in the full moon in the West Tower, I could not let you go. I didn't get to talk to you that day, which has always been my regret. Later, I saw you again in the mansion. I was glad that God was kind to me and gave us the opportunity to meet again. After spending several times together, I found it more and more difficult to forget you. I thought about you day and night, and couldn't sleep at night. I always want to see you, but you are so cruel that you don't want to see me. I can't miss you this time, because I don't know when I will see you next time. So I want to say, Miss Suwon, I like you. As Ning Ziqian spoke, he nervously clutched his sleeves and kept his head down, not daring to look at Suwon. It was not until the last sentence that he mustered up the courage to look up at her, and even subconsciously took a few steps forward. In fact, he really likes Suwon, but deep down he feels that since he likes Suwon, Suwon has to agree to him. If she doesn't agree, he will feel very embarrassed, so he is nervous. Given his status, no girl in Xiangzhou City could refuse his love. Well, young uncle. Suwon was thinking about how to organize the words to reject him, but at this moment, a voice suddenly interrupted. Suwon and Ning Ziqian looked towards the source of the sound at the same time. Jiangyu appeared here, without knowing when. There was no sound of footsteps when he walked. At this moment, he had his hands behind his back, and his expression was not calm, but even a little gloomy. The gloomy brows, the tightly pursed lips, and even the call to Suwon just now, all gave the feeling of suppressing something. I don't know how much of Ning Ziqian's confession just now he heard. The moment she saw him, Suwon suddenly became much more sober. She quickly stood up from the stone, still holding the bottle of wine in her hand. It was just because I was a little dizzy to begin with, and the sudden rise made me even more dizzy, and I almost couldn't stand. Ning Ziqian raised his foot to help her, but Jiangyu got there first. Jiangyu quickly stepped forward and put his arm around her shoulders, steadying her. Ning Ziqian's hand, which was stretched out in the air, froze in embarrassment. Jiangyu's expression was still cold, but his movements were very gentle. He took the bottle of wine from her hand and placed it on the stone next to him. Suwon stared at him blankly, still immersed in his sudden question. Why are you here? Suwon smiled at him foolishly, and her cheeks turned red due to drunkenness, making her look like a peach at the moment. You're drunk, I'll take you home. Jiangyu couldn't laugh now. After saying that, without waiting for Suwon to answer him, he easily picked her up and carried her sideways. In order to adjust the position to make her more comfortable, he even shook her up. Ning Ziqian watched him pick up Suwon. His back teeth were about to break, and his hands were clenched into fists. It's always like this. This annoying person always appears at the right time, disrupting his pace and provoking him in front of him. How could the young uncle, who had always been proud, bear such humiliation? He sent people to investigate Jiangyu, but they could not find out anything. He was so mysterious, and he had always been the one who was praised in Xiangzhou. Now a man who was not afraid of him and openly opposed him came, which aroused his desire to win. Sir, don't you know that men and women should not touch each other? If you act like this, I'm afraid you will tarnish the innocence of the 6th Mississippi. Hearing this, Jiangyu lowered his eyes to look at the little girl in his arms. Suwon could sense that he was in a very bad mood at the moment and was trying his best to suppress it. If he hadn't been holding her, the young master would probably have been in the lake by now. Suwon took the initiative to hug his neck. She didn't say anything, but her actions proved everything. Jiangyu's brows softened a lot, but it also deeply hurt Ning Ziqian. He turned his anger towards Lu Yun and Lu Ying. You two are so tactless that you don't even know how to help your young lady instead of letting her be molested by a man outside? Ning Ziqian said, gritting his teeth. Lu Yun and Lu Ying looked at each other, not taking it seriously and not planning to take any action. Wan and I love each other, so how can we say that you are being frivolous? Young master, you are being too harsh. It is you who said to a girl in broad daylight that you think about her day and night and can't sleep at night, which is really frivolous. Jiang Yu spoke calmly and just glanced at him lightly. The invisible sense of oppression made Ning Ziqian a little timid. Jiang Yu hugged Su Wan and turned to leave. Su Wan thought of her brother still in the pavilion, so she whispered, "My eldest brother is still in Farong Pavilion. I asked Lu Yin to tell him that you are drunk now." Jiang Yu was extremely jealous. He had only been away for a few days, and someone almost took advantage of him. If he was not with her for a long time in the future, wouldn't he worry every day about someone trying to snatch her away from him? Okay, Su-won had no choice but to let him carry her away. She put her arms around his neck and peeked back secretly, and found that Ning Ziqian was still standing there motionless. She thought, it's over, I've offended him completely. If the young uncle gets angry and makes things difficult for her, that would affect their family's business. Why? You still can't bear to leave. Now it was Jiang Yu's turn to grit his teeth. When Su-won heard this, his heart suddenly skipped a beat. What's going on? Why is she a little scared? No, I'm just taking a look. I'm not reluctant to let it go. She was eager to explain. After turning a corner, Jiang Yu suddenly put her down, let her walk by herself, and even got a little upset. You don't look too drunk. You're still quite sober. Just go on your own. Jiang Yu pursed his lips tightly, with an inexplicable stubbornness on his face. He was so jealous, but he endured it. Su-won thought he was so cute now. She lowered her head and smiled secretly, then followed him silently. Jiang Yu has such long legs that if he walks fast, someone has to jog to catch up with him. Can you please slow down and wait for me? Su-won requested from behind. Jiang Yu didn't say anything, but his pace slowed down subconsciously. His carriage was waiting at the other end of the arch bridge. The two of them crossed the bridge, one after the other. When getting on the carriage, Jiang Yu stood on it first. Su-won thought he would not pull her, but he still reached out his hand to her. He still had that stubborn expression, and even though he reached out his hand to you, he wouldn't even look at you to prove his displeasure. Su-won gave him her hand, and without having to exert any effort, he pulled her up with a light pull. Jiang Yu's carriage was extremely luxurious. He pushed open the door, and Su-won took a closer look, only to find that the layout inside was different from that of ordinary carriages. Because the room was covered with soft animal fur, and there were several cushions around it, with only a small coffee table in the middle, on which were tea, snacks, and fruits. Take off your shoes before you go in. When Su-won was looking around, Jiang Yu reminded him. Maybe because they were afraid of the heat, there was an ice basin inside, so it was very cool inside and not stuffy at all. Although she didn't know why his carriage was designed like this, Su-won liked it inexplicably. She took off her shoes, got in, and found a suitable place to sit down. Jiang Yu followed in and told the driver to drive back to Farong Cottage. The carriage started moving, and the atmosphere inside was weird. Jiang Yu had a tense face and was still not calm. Su-won wondered if she should explain. So, she organized her words in her mind and said, "Actually, I was about to reject him, but you suddenly came and interrupted me, and I haven't gotten back to say anything since then." Jiang Yu heard this, tilted his head and looked at her, his tone calm. "Is it because I came at an unlucky time?" No, how could that be? I just came at the right time, which saved me from embarrassment." Su-won quickly waved her hands to deny it, secretly thinking in her heart, why is he so weird and so like Lin Dayu? To ease the embarrassment, she picked 2 grapes from the jade-like bunch of grapes on the table and put them in her mouth. It is chilled, especially refreshing and sweet. When you bite it, the juice explodes in your mouth. Jiang Yu observed her quietly. She was eating grapes happily. This heartless little guy forgot about him at the first sign of food, but despite this, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise slightly, and then quickly suppressed. Su-won moved towards him, sat down next to him, and looked at him with his head held up, without blinking. This made Jiang Yu feel hot on one side of his face. He coughed twice in a serious manner and asked unnaturally, "Why are you looking at me like that? You are beautiful, but you can't let others see you?" Alcohol does not make people cowardly, but makes them braver. Just like Su-won now, all he needs to do is flirt boldly. I know. Jiang Yu is also thick-skinned. Su-won sat up seriously, kneeling on the soft blanket with her legs, looking straight at Jiang Yu. Jiang Yu didn't know what she was going to do, so he just looked back at her. Her cheeks were still rosy, and her lips were red too. Su-won suddenly gained courage, put her arms around his neck, and kissed him on the face. Unlike the last time when she only touched his face briefly, the touch this time was particularly clear. She had eaten chilled grapes, so her lips were still icy and stayed on his face for several seconds. At that moment, Jiang Yu felt as if something was about to break through his chest and burst out of the ground. "Don't be angry. I don't like the young master. I like you." Su-won left his face and supported her hands on the carpet with a pious look on her face. She was as obedient as a cute little puppy. Jiang Yu was extremely panicked inside, but he pretended to be calm on the surface. He drank 2 cups of cold tea in a row before he calmed down. "I'm not angry," he said, as one could clearly feel his jealousy. But when Su-won said she liked him, he couldn't control his happiness and couldn't suppress the smile on his face. Su-won thought to herself, this blockhead, she always takes the initiative. What a coward. The carriage was shaking and there was a lot of noise outside. Su-won wanted to sleep while riding in the carriage. She had also drunk some wine. The interior was so comfortable that she felt a little sleepy. Farong Garden is in a very secluded place, quite far away from Farong Cottage. Su-won leaned on the pillow next to Jiang Yu, drowsy. Jiang Yu's heart had not yet calmed down. He didn't even dare to look at Su-won, but his heart was already burning with anger. Love is restraint, extreme restraint, which I recall over and over again in my mind. He sat there cross-legged with his hands on his knees. Su-won looked at his bony hands, and her hand control trait exploded. She really wanted to hold their hands, but she did just that. A hand pulled his sleeve. Jiang Yu didn't know what she was going to do, so he tilted his head to look at her, only to see that her hand was on his, hinting at something. This time Jiang Yu did not hesitate or restrain himself, but quickly held her hand and interlocked their fingers. At this moment, both of them laughed and reconciled as before. They just looked at each other quietly. The look in Jiang Yu's eyes when he looked at her was so gentle that it could be drawn. Touched her face gently with his other hand. "Go to sleep. I'll call you when we get there." Because he remembered Su-chen saying that Su-won liked to sleep when riding in a carriage. It rained heavily that day, and the wheels of the carriage sank into a big hole. If he hadn't been there, Su-won would have been almost thrown out of the carriage, so he always remembered this incident. He modified the carriage into this shape to make it more convenient for her. He never had the chance before, but today he finally had the chance to take her for a ride. It seemed that she liked it very much. It's so comfortable. For Su-won, sitting on it is like sleeping on a rocking bed when he was a child. It's hard not to fall asleep. Su-won fell into a deep sleep, but the two of them never let go of each other's tightly clasped hands. After arriving home, Jiang Yu did not rush to wake her up, but let her continue to sleep for an hour or so. He stayed with her in the carriage for an hour until she woke up naturally. After Su-won woke up, he subconsciously wanted to stretch. He was almost sober, but he found that his hand was being held tightly. Their hands were still clasped together, and his palms were sweaty. Jiang Yu noticed that she was awake, smiled at her gently, and poured her a glass of water. "Wake up, drink some water to moisten your skin." Su-won drank the water he handed to her, and Jiang Yu felt elated by her again. "Just kidding, I read so many romance novels and watched so many TV dramas, but it wasn't in vain. How long have I slept?" "More than an hour." Jiang Yu answered truthfully. "In total, I slept for more than 2 hours, which is equivalent to a nap, and now I feel refreshed." I opened the window and looked out. I saw the carriage parked in front of the mansion. I guess none of my family members had returned yet. Su-won stretched and said to Jiang Yu, "Let's go home." "Good." Jiang Yu and she got off the carriage one after another, and they went back to the backyard to see the hibiscus flowers. Su-won excitedly pulled him to the backyard and told him that the hibiscus had not fully bloomed when he left, but when he came back, it was just in full bloom. Back to Su-jing, he was in the pavilion listening to them playing the piano and pipa and was being forced to drink. When he turned around, he found that the young master was gone. "I was just wondering, thinking that my sister had left the table, and the young uncle had also left the table, so I wondered if he had gone to look for him. Being alone with a single man and a single woman could easily lead to misunderstandings, and he himself didn't trust the character of the young master, so he wanted to find a reason to look for him. As a result, before he could open his mouth, Lu Yun came over and told him that Su Wan was drunk and taken away by Jiang Yu, and told him not to worry. Su Jing was very confused. Why did you appear here? However, let's talk about this question after we get back. The most important thing is that Yu is trustworthy, and there will be no problem for Su Wan to be with him, so there is no need to worry. It was precisely because of this that Su Jing could stay and participate in this outing with peace of mind. The young uncle came back soon, but he walked from a distance and looked distraught, as if he had suffered a great blow. After he came back, he started drinking nonstop, didn't talk, and didn't play with anyone, as if the joy at the scene had nothing to do with him. Su Jing was too lazy to care about him since they were not familiar with each other anyway. As they drank, Ning Ziqian looked at Su Jing and suddenly mustered up the courage to put his hand on his shoulder. Su Jing was a little puzzled, but still asked him with a smile, "Young master, what's wrong?" "Brother, I have something to ask you." Ning Ziqian's call of "brother" stunned Su Jing. "Young master, you're drunk." He put away his smile and said seriously. At the scene, everyone fell silent and looked at Ning Ziqian and Su Jing, not knowing what was going on. "I'm not drunk. I'm just asking you, big brother, is your sister married?" Ning Ziqian was so angry at Jiang Yu that his heart began to twist. He had never been looked down upon and treated so lightly before. At this moment, he could hardly hide his desire to win, which was mixed with personal grudges. He asked a girl in front of everyone whether she was married or not, and the meaning was very clear. Su Jing's face darkened, and he was thinking in his heart how to respond to this. He doesn't want Wanwan to have anything to do with him. The most important point is that Wanwan doesn't like him. He doesn't want his sister to marry someone he doesn't like in the future. He would rather support her for the rest of her life than let her suffer this grievance. "Young uncle, my sister is not married, but she is still young and my family plans to keep her for a few more years, so we won't talk about marriage for now." Su Jing thought that as long as he knew that his family had not yet thought of finding a suitable husband for Wanwan, the young uncle would have less ideas. But he didn't know that this was exactly what Ning Ziqian wanted to hear. She was unmarried. So what if they were in love? Without the permission of their parents and the matchmaker, it would not work. He would definitely get Su Wan before him. What can he use to compete with me? Su Jing returned home in the evening, feeling a little dizzy, but still awake. Su Wan was worried that his elder brother must have drunk a lot of alcohol when he came back, so he asked the kitchen to prepare some sobering soup and brought it to him as soon as he came back. At that time, Su Wan and Jiang Yu were sitting under a hibiscus tree playing chess, with Su Yi and Su Wan on one side, 2 against 1. But Su Wan is a bad chess player and always regrets her moves, so Jiang Yu can only indulge her. Su Yi is not very proficient in chess either, so he helps Su Wan with advice. In a game of chess, after regretting several times, the chances of winning finally became higher. As a result, Jiang Yu was always able to reverse the situation with just one move. Watching the brother and sister fighting, Jiang Yu never got tired of it and found it very entertaining. "Play here." Su Jing came over and took a quick look at the chessboard. Seeing his sister thinking hard with the white piece, he pointed to a position. When Su Wan turned around, she saw Su Jing coming back reeking of alcohol and standing behind her. "Brother," she called sweetly. Su Jing smiled and nodded, and Lu Ying tactfully moved a chair over for him. Su Wan followed Su Jing's instructions and placed the chess piece at the position he said, and then placed it at a few more positions according to his instructions. Jiang Yu then showed an embarrassment on his face, and he twisted the black chess piece with his slender fingers, not knowing where to place it. A moment, he threw the black piece back into the chess bowl and said with a smile, "I lost. Brother Su is really amazing." Su Wan saw that his white chess piece had won, and happily high-fived Su Yi. In this game, we can see at a glance that white had the upper hand in the early stages. I guess these two bad chess players must have regretted a lot of their moves. Why don't we start a new game? Su Jing also got addicted to Go. He had previously learned Go from a teacher who was good at the game in the academy. He himself also liked to study books about Go, and his Go skills were quite good. Even the Grand Secretary of the Cabinet praised him for his superb Go skills. A person who can arrange a chess game shows that he has excellent strategies. Looking at the overall situation, he is steady and not chaotic, which reveals his true nature. Okay, this is the first time I play chess with Brother Su, so you have to give me some leniency. Jiang Yu said modestly. Don't say that. In this game, you made many very clever moves. Don't say I'm letting you win. You should be letting me win. These two people are being humble to each other, really. Su-won helped them separate the chess pieces. Jiang Yu continued to play the black chess pieces. Su Jing played the white chess pieces, and Su-won and Su-yi watched the game on the side. At the beginning, both players played very conservatively, testing each other's moves. After that, the game was in a stalemate. Only people who understand chess can see how intense this game is. Su Jing found it more and more interesting as the conversation went on. The two of them smiled at each other and flattered each other. Su Jing was chatting with him when he suddenly thought of Jiang Yu's sudden appearance in Farong Garden today, so he asked, "Why is Au in Farong Garden today?" Speaking of this, Su-won was also curious. He looked up at him, waiting for his answer. Jiang Yu did not hide it and said frankly, "Brother Su may not know that the hibiscus garden is actually my property. Years ago, I had people transplant the hibiscus trees there one by one. They were all famous wood hibiscus, so they bloomed so gorgeously. I also designed the hibiscus pavilion myself and had craftsmen supervise its construction. There is no other reason, it's just because I also love hibiscus, and the people I care about also love hibiscus." When Jiang Yu said the last sentence, he deliberately glanced at Su-won. Su-won's eyes met his, and it only took 2 seconds for her heart to begin to beat fast. It's that kind of crazy, heart-pounding throbbing. Jiang Yu returned his gaze to the chessboard and continued. In fact, my mother also loves hibiscus. I went to hibiscus garden today because I thought this month was the best time for hibiscus to bloom, so I wanted to take a look in advance so that I could invite everyone to come and enjoy it. However, I never thought that someone would have a feast in advance. I saw that Brother Su was also there, so I didn't want to spoil your mood, so I gave up. On the way back, I happened to meet the drunk 6th Miss, and young Master Ning was expressing his love for her, so I took the initiative to bring her back first. Brother Su, please forgive me. Jiang Yu spoke the truth without exaggeration, and only concealed some small details of his love with Su-won. Moreover, this Farong Garden was originally the surprise he planned to give Su-won. The Darning Ziqian actually chose it as the place for him to confess his feelings without his knowledge. Thinking about it now, it really makes people feel unlucky. And that guy Feng Ying, he didn't even bother to find someone to watch over Farong Garden, so someone took advantage of the opportunity and he will be punished later. At this moment, Feng Ying, who was buying food for Qiao Nyang on the street, suddenly felt a chill on his back and a bad premonition came to his mind. After saying so much, Su Jing and Su-yi only heard that sentence, where the young master expressed his love for Su-won. Su Jing frowned, very unhappy. Su-yi also sneered, twisted Su-won's shoulders, asked her to face him, and then looked her up and down. That guy didn't touch you, did he? Su-won shook his head like a rattle. No, he didn't do anything. Jiang Yu arrived just in time. After hearing her say this, Su-yi's expression became much better. No wonder, after he came back from the banquet, he drank a lot of wine in a daze and asked me if I could marry him. Su Jing cast a chess piece, and Ning Ziqian's previous actions made sense after Jiang Yu explained them. Then what did you say, brother? Su-won asked anxiously. Of course I told the truth, but I told him that you are still young, and your family wants to keep you for a few more years. There is no rush to get married. If you don't want to leave home, it's okay to marry a son-in-law. The first half of the sentence was said to Ning Ziqian, and the second half was said to Su-won. Hearing the word, son-in-law, Su-won subconsciously glanced at Jiang Yu and saw a calm smile on his face. Son-in-law, is he willing? That sounds good. Getting back to the topic, speaking of Ning Ziqian, she was not only unmoved by what he said to her today, she was even a little offended. After that, no one spoke anymore, and just watched the two of them play chess quietly. The chessboard was already full of chess pieces, but the winner had not yet been decided, and in the end it ended in a draw. If it weren't for the fact that dinner was about to start, the two of them would have had to play another game. But obviously, there won't be many such opportunities, because Su Jing will soon go to Xuanhe to take up his post, and it's unknown when we will see each other again. Of parting, everyone was very sad, and Su's mother was uncontrollably sad again. The children all had their own things to do and missions to accomplish, and could not be with her. The only thing she could do was to try her best to pretend that they were safe and sound when sending them away, so that they could leave with peace of mind. Su Jing's two servants moved all his things onto the carriage, and the guards arranged by the court would escort him safely to Xuanhe to take up his post. Su's mother prepared enough clothes, shoes, and various daily necessities for him. He carried 4,000 taels of silver notes with him, of which 3,000 taels would be used to purchase and store medicinal materials to prevent casualties during the flood season and the helplessness and sadness of the people of Xuanhe who had no money to buy medicine. He only kept 1,000 taels for himself and left all the rewards he brought back from Kyoto to his family. But Su-won also prepared some things for him, including jade ornaments, jade bracelets, jewelry, and the like to pack in boxes for him, fearing that he would have to deal with local officials when he arrived in Xuanhe. He couldn't go to someone's house empty-handed without a decent gift. The reason he wears jewelry is that if he ever meets a girl he likes, he will have something to give as a gift. Su-won was really thoughtful and had thought of all the possibilities for him. Su's father returned to Xiangzhou the day before his eldest son took office, and brought with him several hundred kilograms of rice, which was this year's new rice. After the peppers from Su Yun's pepper field turned red, he dried them and ground them into several jars of chili powder, which he also brought over. It was only after he came to Xiangzhou that he realized how many things had happened during the time he was away. His third son actually joined the army, and is probably already on the front line. But he was not as upset and angry as he had expected. Instead, he felt unexpectedly relieved and honored. Serving the motherland is such an honorable thing for a man. He will be proud of his son when the news spreads. Seeing that Father Su was so open-minded, Mother Su and Su-won no longer had any concerns or worries. On the day Su Jing took office, his family once again sent him to the city gate. Even the governor of Xiangzhou and the chief secretary came to see him off. Su Jing bid farewell to his parents at the city gate and kowtowed to them 3 times to show his filial piety. More farewell words, as saying so would only increase everyone's sadness. Before Su Jing boarded the carriage, she only said take care. Before leaving, she rubbed Su-won's head and said to him, "When you have nothing to do, write to me more often. I hope to share the happy and sad things with you." Su-won was so moved that she almost cried. She nodded vigorously and then watched the team go away with her family. Now, Su Jing is gone. On weekdays, the 4th brother has to work in Umengsala and the 5th brother has to take care of his own things. In an instant, the house feels a lot quieter. Recently, and goes out on dates with a young man named Yi Runs from time to time. The two of them went to the theater and paraded together. It was said that although Yi Runs only took her to eat ordinary street food, he never let her spend a penny. From what Yang Qingqing had described, it seemed that Yi Runs had positive values and was a gentleman. In short, she liked him very much. Good things cannot be delayed. After the uncle and aunt confirmed that Yang Qingqing really liked Yi Runs, they took the initiative to invite Yi Runs and his son, and the parents of both sides to meet. Originally, they wanted to invite guests to Yueman West Tower, but Su's mother said that they could just choose an ordinary restaurant. After all, compared with their current conditions, the Yi family's conditions were not very good. If they went to a restaurant like Yueman West Tower, people might feel restrained. Su's mother's worries are normal. The strength of the two families is not equal, so it is better not to cause anxiety to others. The most important thing is that the two children feel comfortable. Her aunt asked her to go along to help take a look and give some advice. Su's mother had nothing to do anyway, so she went along to see the situation. If the two parties feel that the two children are suitable to be a couple after talking, then they can discuss the marriage. After all, Yang Qingqing is already 17 years old. My uncle meant to give Yang Qingqing a dowry of 150 taels of silver, which was all the savings they had. It also showed how much they valued Yang Qingqing and gave her all their love and confidence. There is also the small box of jewelry that Su Wan picked out for her. If converted into silver, it is worth a lot of silver. They are all good items from Kyoto. As for what the man's response is, I don't know. But my uncle said that as long as the other party shows sincerity and tries their best, the amount of the betrothal gift is secondary. Su Jing also left. Su Wan is now fully focused on opening branches of Yuantang in Suzhou and Yenzhou. He plans to officially set off after September. My uncle also needs to hurry up in selecting people and choosing a location so as to continue expanding the scale of the workshop and meet the demand for goat milk soap in Yenzhou and Suzhou. Then, we're just waiting for Yang Qingqing's wedding to be finalized and for her to have the wedding banquet. It was decided that we would set out for Suzhou on the first day of October. We even had the carriage ready and all the banknotes and other things prepared. At Bingjitang is booming. Su Wan is now a wealthy woman who has achieved financial freedom. She has 2 money trees in her hands, the kind that she shakes hard. But on the day before departure, something big happened, which completely shocked Su Wan. The Ningyuan Earl's mansion actually invited a matchmaker to propose marriage and even prepared a list of betrothal gifts, asking Su's father and mother to review it. Not only Su Wan was stunned, but everyone was stunned. The Ningyuan Earl's mansion invited the most famous female matchmaker in the whole of Shenzhou. In order to show their importance, the Ningyuan Earl's wife also came along and brought a list of betrothal gifts to propose marriage in person. It was their first visit, and to express their sincerity, they brought several large boxes of gifts tied with red flowers. They made a very grand visit and attracted a lot of attention. Su Wan was just about to go out to Suzhou, but he ran into the group led by Lady Ningyuan and bumped into them at the door. Su Wan was confused, and his head was buzzing. When he saw the team dressed so festively, he immediately understood what they were here for. However, as calm as she was, she did not show any panic on the spot. Lu Yun and Lu Ying looked at each other and frowned to show their incomprehension. At the same time, they had already thought about how to tell tales. Miss Su Lu, long time no see. Lady Ningyuan smiled brightly, and when she saw Su Wan, she came up to her warmly. The wife of the Earl of Ningyuan was of noble status, so Su Wan had to bow to her when he saw her. Meet Madame Bo. Why are you so polite? We are all family. There's no need to be so formal. Mrs. Bo took her hand and patted the back of her hand soothingly. You're too kind. You're of noble status, and we dare not approach you. Su Wan pulled her hand away from hers. She didn't want to be a family with her. Mrs. Bo could also see her resistance, but she didn't get angry. Instead, she winked at the matchmaker beside her. The matchmaker immediately understood and put on a smiling face. Sixth Miss, congratulations. Your wedding is coming soon. Today, the lady of the Baron came to ask for marriage on behalf of the young master. I wonder if Mr. Su and Mrs. Su are at home? The Earl's wife came to visit in person today, which shows how much the Earl's mansion values the girl. Su Wan couldn't laugh. She just felt a little numb at the moment. But they were already at the door, and it would be very impolite not to invite them in. The doorman ran to tell the master and mistress. At that time, Su's mother and father were still bickering in the yard, and he was just about to go to the painting studio. Upon hearing the news, the 3 of them stopped moving at the same time, and their expressions froze. Su Yi's face quickly darkened, and he was about to leave. I'll go tell them that our Wanwan won't discuss marriage for the time being. Seeing this, Su's mother quickly grabbed her son and said, Don't be silly. She's the wife of the Earl of Ningyuan. We should treat her with courtesy. Let her in first. We can talk about other things later. Your mother is right. His status is there, and it is not easy to offend him. Please come in first and then think about how to refuse him. Father Su was still rational. On Su Wan's side, the wife of the Earl of Ningyuan had already been invited in. Su Wan asked Lu Ying to take her to the reception room and then serve her tea to entertain her. Su's mother and father also rushed over immediately. Mrs. Bo has come from afar. I am sorry for not welcoming you. I am sorry for not welcoming you. It was also the first time for Sue's mother to entertain guests of this level, so she seemed rather inexperienced. "You are too polite, madam. I am here today to propose marriage for my son. Please sit down, and let us discuss the marriage in detail." Mrs. Bow was very confident. She felt that the Sue family would definitely agree. As long as she married her son, she would be in this position and become the most honorable woman in Xiangzhou. Sue's father and mother looked at each other, not knowing what to say for a moment, so they could only sit down in the main seat. On the contrary, it was Sue Wan who refused first. "Madam, I have no intention of getting married right now. Besides, my young master and I don't know each other well, and we don't spend much time together. I think this matter is still. It doesn't matter if you don't know each other, and it doesn't matter if you don't spend much time together. My son is a handsome man with a graceful demeanor, and he'll have a title to inherit in the future. We can settle the matter first, and then you will have plenty of opportunities to get along and get to know each other, don't you think?" Mrs. Bow's words were very meaningful. She was expressing, explicitly or implicitly, that she should be happy that her son fell in love with her, Sue Wan. If you don't know, you might think that what Ning Zhiqian inherited was not a title, but the throne. "Madam, our Sue family is just a merchant family. We are not a good match for the Ningyuan Marquis mansion. I am afraid that I will marry someone of higher status. My sister's status is even more incompatible with the noble status of the young Marquis. Let's not talk about marriage anymore." Sue Yi refused directly, and his expression was not very good. In his opinion, the so-called young master of the Ningyuan Earl's mansion was not worthy of his sister at all. His sister deserved the best of everything in the world. Sue Yi, a junior, interrupted, and Mrs. Bow was obviously unhappy. She said with a stern face, "When the adults are discussing matters, it is better for the younger generation not to butt in. It would be better for the fifth young master to take the sixth young lady away for a while. I will personally discuss the matter of marriage with Master Sue and Madam Sue. Madam, this concerns my younger sister's future. Please forgive me for being nosy, but isn't marriage a matter of mutual consent?" Sue Yi was determined to fight to the end, with an imposing manner of 2 meters and 80 centimeters. "Your body and hair are given by your parents. Marriage is a matter of parents' orders and matchmakers' words. When is it the turn of the younger generation to interfere? Madam Sue should teach the younger generation strictly and teach them etiquette." What she meant was that Sue Yi was uneducated, and Sue's father and mother could only smile awkwardly after hearing this. Mother Sue stood up, grabbed her fifth son, and whispered, "Ear, take one away for a while. Mother knows what to do. Mom, Sue Wan really wanted to ask her not to agree to this marriage. Of course, Sue's mother knew that she didn't want to, so she would refuse. She gave her daughter a reassuring smile and signaled with her eyes that she should step away from her fifth brother for a while. In ancient times, when the younger generation in the family was discussing marriage, they were not allowed to be present to interfere. It was all up to the parents to discuss it, otherwise it would be impolite. Sue Wan could only do this. Sue Yi's face looked very bad, and his hands were clenched into fists. Sue Wan could only pull his arms and try his best to pull him out. "Fifth brother, don't be angry. Mom and Dad will explain everything to her." After coming out, Sue Wan saw that Sue Yi still had a stern face, so she could only comfort him like this. "I know, I just can't stand her condescending attitude. She looks down on others. It's just a title that she inherited. What's so great about it?" The usually calm fifth brother is now not calm anymore, and is actually a little angry. At the same time, Zhang Yu had also received the news, and was dealing with things here at Feng Ying's place. Then someone told him that the Earl of Ningyuan had come to propose marriage. Feng Ying looked at the young master's back. He had his back to him, and showed no expression or emotion. He just said calmly, "I understand. You go out first." Feng Ying always felt that this was the calm before the storm. At this moment, he didn't dare to laugh anymore and retreated honestly. As soon as the door was closed, Feng Ying had just walked into the yard when he heard the sound of porcelain breaking coming from the study. He knew that the carved porcelain vase worth 1,000 taels was probably gone. He couldn't help but shudder and felt a little numb on his back. Suwon held his forehead helplessly. What did the fifth brother say to the fourth brother? That's not true. Don't listen to fifth brother's nonsense.
He was just teasing you.
You are all my brothers. You are all equally important in my heart. No matter who is older or younger, you are the same. Suwon's words were like a reassurance, and Soo-yun felt better instantly. In fact, he only needed one sentence. The brother and sister went to the dining room to eat together. On the way, they met Soo-yi, who had just woken up. Soo-yun was standing next to Soo-won with a proud look on his face. Soo-yi raised his eyebrows and didn't take it seriously. Fourth brother is really serious. He was just teasing him last night, but he took it seriously. But precisely because we care, we become more serious about it. After breakfast in the morning, Soo-won answered Soo-yun's questions from last night one by one, because he asked the same question again while eating. Soo-won also learned that cousin Ching-ching was pregnant. It has been more than 3 months now, and she looks very well and doesn't even have morning sickness. It seemed that Soo-won had to buy some supplements and give her the 2 beautiful dresses that she brought back from Kyoto. She bought clothes for Sue's mother and aunt, and also bought new clothes for everyone in the family. After dinner, Soo-yun took Soo-won to Chunglu. Chunglu's business has been very good now. Its cuisine is very popular. There are so many people who like spicy food. Whether it is dine-in or take-out, the order volume is very large. He was afraid that there would not be enough demand, so he bought 20 acres of land to grow peppers and developed several new dishes. He launched hot pot in winter, which was also very popular, and people had to queue up. After the winter, everyone wants to eat something hot. This way of eating is particularly interesting, and the whole family enjoys it with relish. Other rivals wanted to replicate it and found the species of chili pepper, but didn't know how to make chili powder. By the time they figured it out, Soo-yun had already made a fortune, and his technique was very perfect. Chunglu had also been engraved in people's minds, and Chunglu was the first to do so. Another thing is that chili is just the icing on the cake, while soy sauce is the most important thing. If Soo-yun doesn't reveal this recipe, no one can replicate it, so Chunglu is unique. For takeout, it is usually wealthy families who order and ask the servants to place the order, and then Chunglu arranges for someone to deliver it to their door. Now the reputation has spread to other places, and some people come from far away just to try Chunglu's food. Seeing that Chunglu was managed so well by his fourth brother, Soo-won felt relieved and chose time to visit his cousin Ching-ching. Is pregnant now, so it is not possible for her to stay in the shop every day. She only goes there from time to time and spends most of her time at home taking care of the pregnancy. In 2 years, it will be the year for the imperial examination, and my cousin's husband has to prepare for the exam, so the couple stay at home every day, one taking care of the pregnancy and the other studying. Cousin Ching-ching looks a little rounder, probably because she is pregnant. It is not difficult to tell from her smile that her married life is happy and fulfilling. Couple entertained Soo-won politely and warmly, but Soo-won didn't expect that she would be pregnant so soon, so the Kyoto fashionable clothes they bought for her were too small and not suitable for her. But Yang Ching-ching still happily accepted it and said she would wear it after she gave birth next year and lost weight. After Soo-won came back, he had to find time to meet Cheon-yang, still in Umangsi Tower. In the past 6 months, Cheon-yang had opened a total of 8 Bingjitang branches. It was expected that before next year, like Yuantang, she would have branches all over Jinghua. Soo-won also increased her monthly silver by 200 taels as promised before. She is the behind-the-scenes boss of this industry, a hands-off manager. Such a large industrial chain is managed by Cheon-yang alone, so she deserves this number. Soo-won was almost busy to death. She didn't have a single day to rest after returning. She had to read all the account books sent from all over the place, which made her dizzy. And her second brother, during the half year that she was away from home, he sent a lot of things back to her, including all kinds of strange little gadgets. Although Soo-won also traveled around, there were many places she had not been to. Sumu bought all the interesting things and stories he saw and sent them back to her. Every brother is protecting this family, and Soo-won in his own way was busy until the 28th day of the lunar year. He finally had some free time. He finally finished looking through all the account books and would go to inspect them at the beginning of next year. But I didn't expect that there would be a big surprise before the new year. Su-mu actually came back. He came back specially to spend the new year with his family, which made Su's mother and father very happy. Their second son did not spend the new year at home last year, and now it has been 2 years. As parents, they naturally miss him very much. Dr. Sun was also planning to go back to Fenghe Villa to spend the new year with the old master this year, so he asked Su-mu to go back to Xiangzhou to spend the new year with his parents. After the Lantern Festival, he would come to Zhongzhou to meet him. This year, except for Su Jing and Su Chen, the other 4 children were at home. Su's mother happily cooked a New Year's Eve dinner with Su Yun. Su Wan also discovered his second brother's little secret. Sun Linger's name was embroidered on his sachet. The stitching was crooked and very clumsy. It was obvious that Sun Linger embroidered it herself and gave it to her second brother. My second brother actually wears it on his body. What does this mean? This means that the second brother has finally come to his senses and realized his feelings. I didn't expect Linger to be so quick and make the big wooden man come to his senses so quickly. After dinner on New Year's Eve, Su-mu's purse fell to the ground. It was Wan who picked it up and discovered the secret. Second brother, you and Miss Linge? Su-mu snatched back the sachet and stuffed it into his sleeve. His entire